stadium, from the police officer down at the door who was very, very kind and helped set up our equipment, at least get it up here into the booth.
And makes it goes across the 20 down
men
to
who've been getting the beautiful press box up here ready for tonight's game. They're most cooperative, and I'd like to thank them very, very much, because it really helps out a lot when you're running through these wires and things, trying to get a little cooperation. And that we got more than a little. We got a heck of a lot of cooperation tonight from all these folks over at Welch Stadium. There goes the Seabreeze Sandcrabs band forming back into their marching formation, preparing to march off the field. New Smyrna Beach Barracudas have not as yet entered the field. They'll be ready to go in just a few minutes, I imagine. We have time here at the field 3 minutes before 8 o'clock. Men, I want to bring a reminder to you before we do get into the ball game here that you'll never know real shaving comfort till you can buy a Sunbeam Shave Master from Thomas Pharmacy. And ladies, you'll never give him a gift he'll appreciate more than a Sunbeam Shave Master. The Sunbeam Shave Master has a big, smooth single head that shaves beards as tough as wire, yet doesn't injure the tenderest skin. The Sunbeam Shave Master comes in a compact case, so it can go with you anywhere, anytime. So put the name Sunbeam Shave Master on your Christmas thinking list. Or if you're downright smart, men, you'll stop in at Thomas Pharmacy and get a Sunbeam Shave Master yourself. You'll have it for sure without waiting. That's a Sunbeam Shave Master from Thomas Pharmacy on Canal Street. Remember, our sponsors will bring the game to you: Thomas Pharmacy, Wright and Ford Millworks, Western Auto, and Mitchell Alexander Lumber Company. That's the place to go for FHA home financing without any down payment required. The captains are in the center of the field now, ready for the toss. And before we go any farther, I'd like to explain to you that the crowd noises, we may not get too much across because we're in a beautiful glass-enclosed press box, as I said before. You probably will receive the New Smyrna Beach Band music, though, because they're sitting right under us. Time for the national anthem. The national anthem, the crowd's cheering. We're about ready to start the game with the kickoff tonight. Bob Patillo's right here to tell you who won the toss, the results of the toss, who kicked from where, and who received from which. Right, Bob?
Thanks, Bill. Let's move quickly into the starting lineup, fans. The ends for the visiting New Smyrna Beach Barracudas will be Robert Harmon and Joe Benedict. The tackles will be Mario Fazio and Carol Williams. The guards will be Andy Crawford and Al Thomason. The center will be Larry Marchinton. The quarterback will be Ronnie Johnston, who's out at midfield right now, one of the Barracuda co-captains for the toss of the coin. The left halfback will be Doyle Lowe. The fullback, David Neely. The right halfback will be Mike Barrow. Now for the Seabreeze Sandcrabs, celebrating homecoming tonight here at Memorial Stadium in Daytona Beach. The ends will be Phil Walser and Ronnie Miller. The tackles, Walt Teller and John McManus. The guards, Reynold Van Lennep and Reeves Smith. The center will be Tim Madden. The quarterback will be Scotty Dunlop. The left halfback, Jack Weller. The fullback, Flavel Miller. And the right halfback, Martin Naz. Now the co-captains for the Barracudas are Ronnie Johnston and Mario Fazio. They're trotting off the field right now with the Sandcrab co-captains, Walt Teller and Tim Madden. And Seabreeze has won the toss and has elected to receive. The Seabreeze Sandcrabs, celebrating homecoming, have a 5-3 record going into this ball game. The Barracudas have won 4 and lost 4. Let's run down their comparative records quickly as the teams congregate on the sidelines ready to charge out onto that field. The New Smyrna Beach Barracudas opened the season by upsetting Cocoa 7-0. They lost to Winter Park 12-0. Defeated Wildwood 21-0, beat Apopka 20-6, ran wild at Crescent City 48-0, and since that time have lost their last 3 games in a row to tough opponents, to DeLand 31-0, to Sanford 12-7, and to Palatka last week in a thrilling ball game at New Smyrna Beach. The Barracudas homecoming, Palatka won it 19-13. Seabreeze defeated Bowles 38-0. Swamped P.K. Young of Gainesville 31-0. Beat Cocoa 27-13. Then upset DeLand 20-14. Then suffering serious injuries to several key players in the DeLand game. The Sandcrabs haven't been the same since. They lost to Winter Park 21-6. Came back to romp over Winter Garden 32-7. And then lost two 14-0 decisions on successive weekends to Stark and Sanford. 14-0 to Sanford last week. And Bill, I wrote a story for the New Smyrna Beach News this week and intended to say that Sanford beat Seabreeze 14-0, but typographical error crept in and it came out 40-0. But the score actually was Sanford 14, Seabreeze nothing. Now here's the kickoff. Big Mike Barrow booting. Scotty Dunlop takes it on his 8-yard line, straight back up the middle to the 10, the 15, the 20, fighting hard up to the 25, to the 30, and he's snowed under as a bunch of red jerseys drive him down to the 30-yard line. Both schools have red and white colors. Seabreeze tonight in white with red numerals, and New Smyrna Beach in red with white numerals. Al Thomason, the right guard, made the tackle on Scotty Dunlop, who returned the opening kickoff from the 8 to the 31, where they spot the ball. 1st and 10 for Seabreeze from its own 31-yard line. Here's the first play from scrimmage in the ball game. Scotty Dunlop, the quarterback, up under center on the T formation, takes the ball on the keeper off the right side between guard and tackle, goes for about 2 or 3 yards before they drop him at the 33. It's a pickup of 2. David Neely, the linebacker, made the tackle, and so it's 2nd down and 8 for Seabreeze from its own 33-yard line. The Sandcrabs moving southward. Barracuda defending the south goal. Out of the huddle come the white-clad Sandcrabs. Up over the ball to center Tim Madden. The quarterback, Scotty Dunlop, hands off to Jack Weller, the left halfback, who drives in across the 35, fumbles, and New Smyrna Beach recovers. Ronnie Johnston recovered the fumble by Jack Weller on the Seabreeze 36-yard line. So the Barracudas, who are slight underdogs in this ball game, because of the comparative records which we gave you just a moment ago, take over the ball. 1st down and 10 to go on the Seabreeze 37-yard line is where they spot the ball. Out of the huddle come the Cudas, red jerseys, white helmets, and white pants. Ronnie Johnston, the quarterback. The line is tight. T formation. Flanker to the right is Neely. Johnston hands off in there to Mike Barrow, fighting hard across the 35 down to the 32-yard line before they can bring him down. The left side of the Seabreeze line with Walt Teller, Reynolds Van Lennep, and Norton Montague, who's in now as a linebacker, in on the tackle. Madden, the center, shifted over to defensive left end. The linebackers are Norton Montague and Ronnie Miller, who is an offensive tackle. Seabreeze now with a 7-1-3 defense. Barracudas in a tight T. Johnson hands off to Doyle Lowe, the left halfback, driving up the middle across the 30 down to the 28, and he's stopped in there by the linebackers, Montague and Miller, at the 28-yard line. So it's 3rd down and 2 for the Barracudas on the Seabreeze 28. With 9 minutes left in the first quarter, no score. New Smyrna Beach at Seabreeze. Johnston, the quarterback, calling signal. Seabreeze with the 7-man line. Here's Lowe bursting through a big hole, gets a block across the 25 down to the 23-yard line. And he's finally pulled down after racking up a 1st down by Ronnie Miller and Reeves Smith, who drop him at the 23-yard line. He put it back to the 24. That's where his knee hit the ground. And so it's 1st and 10 for New Smyrna Beach from the Seabreeze 24-yard line. The Barracudas driving here early in the first quarter of this scoreless East Florida Conference struggle. Their flags go down as Johnston on the keeper drives forward down to the 20. And he's racked up at the 20-yard line if the play is allowed to stand. New Smyrna Beach was offside, however, and 2 flags are down. The officials are discussing the option with Tim Madden, one of the Sandcrab co-captains, center on offense, and a defensive left end. Ronnie Johnston, one of the Barracuda co-captains, is up to listen in. The ball is on the Seabreeze 24, and New Smyrna Beach probably will draw a 5-yard penalty back to the Seabreeze 29. That's what will happen. The ball is tossed back and spotted at the Seabreeze 29, so it'll be 1st and 15 for New Smyrna Beach. Carr goes in for Benedict in the New Smyrna Beach lineup at right end. Barracudas burst out of the huddle up to the line of scrimmage, led by Larry Marchington, 154-pound junior center. Nothing to score. 8.5 minutes left in the first quarter. New Smyrna Beach with a 1st and 15 on the Seabreeze 29. Here's a draw play, delayed buck, and here is Mike Barrow running hard, gets a good block across the 15, across the 10, out in the open. He goes into the end zone for a touchdown. Mike Barrow scores. on a beautiful play which drew the Seabreeze defenses to the wrong side. Seabreeze swung to the left, and on a delayed slash at the left side of his own line, the right side of the Seabreeze line, Mike Barrow, the right halfback, got a couple of good blocks, burst out in the open, and went all the way 29 yards for a touchdown. New Smyrna Beach leads 6-0 with 8 minutes and 23 seconds left in the first quarter. Now we'll have the try for the extra point. Mario Fazio will attempt from placement. There's a snap from center. The ball is down. The boot is in the air. It is no good. It was high, but wide to the left. And so the score remains New Smyrna Beach 6, Seabreeze nothing here early in the first quarter. And the New Smyrna Beach stands right down below us, led by the New Smyrna Beach High School band. Are going wild. Now here's Bill Armstrong.
Well, thank you, Bob. This is hardly the time for me to talk about wood, but because those boys look anything but made of wood. But I want to tell you folks that when you go to Wright & Ford for anything made of wood, believe me, you're on the right track. Wright & Ford Millworks have the skill and experience to make any cabinet, mantel, bookcase, or vanitory that your home may need. Consult Wright & Ford. Estimates are free and they're cheerfully given. All the work is guaranteed. Remember, if it's made of wood, Wright & Ford can make it. Time for the kick-in, and time in Bob Patillo.
Thanks very much, Bill Armstrong. Mike Barrow, who ran 29 yards for the touchdown, will now kick off, booting from south to north. Barrow moves forward. There's the boot. A high end-over-end kick slanted for the northwest corner. Taken on the 9-yard line by Martin Nash. He comes back up the middle, across the 15, the 20, and dives to the 25-yard line as he's tripped up by Gilbert Chisholm. Gilbert Chisholm, the 170-pound junior end, came down fast and nailed him with a low tackle. And the ball spotted on the 25, 1st and 10 for Seabreeze from its own 25-yard line. As the Sandcrabs now try to get back in the ball game. The climax of the Sandcrabs homecoming celebration. Here's a handoff to Flavel Miller, the senior fullback, who slashes off the left side, goes across the 25 up to the 26 or 27-yard line. They give him 2 yards on the play, spotted at the 27. And it's 2nd down and 8 to go for Seabreeze. Andy Crawford, 142-pound senior left guard of the Barracudas, made the stop. Out of the huddle come the Sandcrabs, trailing 6-0 here with 7.5 minutes left in the first quarter. Still early in the ball game. Dunlop hands off in there to somebody who is snowed under immediately. That's Martin Nass, 175-pound senior right halfback. The play didn't go. The Barracudas diagnosed it. Mario Fazio, the big left tackle, 185-pound senior, and Andy Crawford, the left guard, led the charge as a host of red jerseys stopped the play for a loss of 2 yards at the 25-yard line. So that hole was gummed up quickly. Elwood Hyatt now goes in for Martin Nass at right halfback for Seabreeze. 3rd down and 10 to go for the Sandcrabs from their own 25. Dunlop on the keeper, starts across the right side, picks up 2 yards, and that's all there is, as the hole closes up very quickly, and David Neely gets the biggest piece of him along with Mario Fazio. Neely hit him high and Fazio dropped him low as the Sandcrabs have been unable to move. And 4th down comes up with better than 7. 4th down and actually about 7.5 to go. The ball on the Seabreeze 27.5 is caught at the 28-yard line. 4th and 7 from their own 28 for the Sandcrabs, who call timeout, and we'll call time in Bill Armstrong.
Thank you, Robert. Say, friends, no one's really trying to rush this season, but frankly, this is the right time to select and lay away toys for Christmas down at Western Auto. Now's the time selection is best. Stocks are fresh, new, and complete, and, boy, I mean complete. For instance, you'll find at Western Auto all the new TV games, Disneyland, Beat the Clock, What's My Line, Winky Dink, and many more. And later, you'll have to scramble to get such popular games. Besides games, Western Auto has all the wheel toys any child could want, and all the dolls and doll accessories, too. So go into Western Auto at 419 Canal Street tomorrow and lay away your Christmas toy selections while the selecting's still good. There's tons of toys for girls and boys down there at Western Auto. So go on in and tell Chet Kernane you heard about it on the football game. Will you do that?
Thanks, Bill. We have Porter Baxter spotting for us tonight, doing his usual fine job for the 3rd week in a row. We also have Wes Rowland and some other halftime guests on tap. The Sandcrabs are in a huddle on about the 18-yard line. The Barracudas now come up to the line of scrimmage with their defensive alignment, sending back 2 men in double safety. Ronnie Johnston on the left side, Doyle Lowe on the right side. They're backpedaling rapidly as Dunlop stands on his own 15-yard line, waiting to kick that ball southward. Sandcrabs trail to the underdog Barracudas 6-0 here with 6 minutes and 10 seconds left in the first quarter. 4th and 7 for Seabreeze from its own 25. Dunlop standing on the 15, and his kick is blocked. His kick is blocked, and Fazio falls on it for New Smyrna Beach. on the 23-yard line. Big Mario Fazio, the left tackle, fell on the ball after Gilbert Chisholm blocked the kick attempted by Scotty Dunlop from his own 15. So the Barracudas, going into this ball game as slight underdogs, have certainly disregarded that role, and now we have a discussion with the officials. Seabreeze was offside, and naturally New Smyrna Beach declines the penalty, and the Barracudas take over. First down and 10 to go on the Seabreeze 20-yard line. New Smyrna Beach leading 6-0 after capitalizing on a Seabreeze fumble. Now gets another break on a block kick, which is actually not a break. Gilbert Chisholm made the break, and Mario Fazio recovers. Now Mike Barrow, the right halfback, takes a handoff, drives him to the right side, goes to the 20, and they stack him up after a pickup of 3 yards. It'll be 2nd and 7 for the Barracudas. Walt Teller, the linebacker, made the stop at the 20-yard line. The Barracuda fans are whooping it up right down below our glass-enclosed booth. As you can tell probably from the background, we are completely enclosed by glass, and that's the reason you don't get more crowd noise. Ronnie Johnston, fading to pass, cocks his arm, throws it, it's complete to the 10, and the receiver goes to the 5, rolls to the 3-yard line before they can drag him down. That's Lindsey Carr, the left end, who caught a quick pass from Ronnie Johnston on the Seabreeze 10-yard line and rolled down to the 4-yard line where his knee hit the ground. He rolled on to the 2, but they say his knee hit at the 4. So a quick pass picks up 16 yards, Johnston to Carr, and the Barracudas call timeout with a 1st and goal to go on the Seabreeze 4-yard line. Here's Bill Armstrong once again.
Robert, there's no sponsor in the world that wants us to give a commercial right now, I know. Don't you think so? If on the 4-yard line, time for the second touchdown, ready to score, 6-0, they're the underdogs, I refuse to read one. I know they'd go along with it, too.
Well, Bill, I see what you mean. I see Joe Benedict goes into the ball game for the Barracudas, who are certainly fired up. And as Porter Baxter pointed out a moment ago while you were talking, Bill, the Barracuda line is charging faster than it's ever charged before. And you know, the Cudas showed great improvement last week in losing to a strong Palatka team, 19-13. Palatka had only 13 points scored against it in 7 previous ball games. And the Cudas seem to be hot again tonight, at least here in the first quarter. Now here's the play. 1st and goal from the 4-yard line. Mike Barrow takes the handoff, drives in, and goes for the touchdown. The Barracudas lead 12-0 with 5 minutes left in the first quarter, and they try for the extra point yet to come. So the Seabreeze fans across the way are sitting in stunned silence, and those east stands are crammed to capacity for this homecoming feature, as the favored Sandcrabs are trailing 12-0, but of course this ball game is early, and it's definitely not over. Now here is the attempted extra point. They're going to run it. A flag goes down in the Barracuda backfield. The ball carrier does not cross the goal line. I believe that was Mike Barrow who was stopped on the 1, and let's see what will happen. New Smyrna Beach was guilty of illegal motion. The backfield was in motion, and of course the try for the extra point having failed, Barrow was held at the 1-yard line. Seabreeze elects to decline the penalty, and the score remains New Smyrna Beach 12, Seabreeze nothing, with Mike Barrow preparing to kick off once again from south to north from his own 40-yard line. Our booth is on the west side of the field, which runs north and south, and you may be able to hear through the glass the New Smyrna Beach High School Band in their new red and white uniforms, being led by Director W.R. Snowden, right in front of our booth. Barrow moves forward. Here's his kickoff, a high end-over-end boot taken on the 12-yard line and then dropped, picked up at the 15, and immediately the receiver, Scotty Dunlop, is snowed under. Let's see where they stop him. They dropped him at the 18. And the Barracudas are moving down fast. They want this one very badly. Robert Harmon led the attack on the ball carrier, Scotty Dunlop, as they dropped him on the 18. First down and 10 to go for Seabreeze from its own 18, trailing 12-0 here with 4.5 minutes left in the first quarter. And here is a pitch out to Martin Nass, sweeping his own left end. He cuts the corner at the 20, and he's run out at the 20-yard line. Over on the far side of the field, Seabreeze attempting to move southward. Robert Harmon ran him out as he attempted to make the turn, sweeping to his left, and he made it to the 22-yard line for a 4-yard pickup. 2nd and 6 for Seabreeze from its own 22. 4 minutes, 15 seconds left in the first quarter. New Smyrna Beach 12, Seabreeze nothing is the score. Now here's a handoff to Scotty Dunlop, who had moved over to left halfback, and he drives up across the 25, and then he suddenly dropped at the 25. The ball is not quite to the 26 as Mario Fazio rolled under to make the stop. Fazio playing his usual tremendous ball game at left tackle for the Barracudas. The ball is spotted on the 25. It is a 3-yard gain, brings up 3rd and 3 for the Sandcrabs, moving southward. Barracudas with a 5-4-2 defense. Here is the quarterback, Jack Weller, on a keeper being snowed under for a loss. Weller moved up to quarterback for this series, and David Neely and Mario Fazio broke through quickly to throw him before he could get rid of the ball. He's dropped for a loss of a yard at the 24-yard line. So it brings up 4th down as the Barracudas rose up when they needed to and stopped the drive. Back in double safety go Johnston and Lowe. Scotty Dunlop will kick. He's standing on his own 12-yard line. A block punt set up the second Barracuda touchdown just a moment ago. Dunlop is in approximately the same position he was when he had his kick blocked just a few minutes ago. Here's the snap. A flag goes down. Dunlop gets off his kick. An end-over-end punt taken by Lowe at the 50-yard line. Lowe back to the 47, and down he goes under a horde of white jerseys. Seabreeze may have been guilty of an infraction. Phil Walter, the left end, may have broken across the line of scrimmage just a moment early, according to our spotter, Porter Baxter, who is up here all eyes tonight. And the officials are discussing the options with Ronnie Johnston, the Barracuda co-captain, along with Mario Fazio, with the Seabreeze co-captains Walt Suller and Tim Madden listening in. And the Cudas elect to take the penalty. Dunlop kicked on 4th down. Lowe returned from the 50 to the 47. He caught the ball with 3 Sandcrabs staring him in the face, just stuck his head down and drove into them for a 3-yard return. But they'll have to do it over again, 5 yards against the Sandcrabs, offside. Puts the ball back on the 19-yard line, 4th and 9. Dunlop standing on his own 6-yard line now, waiting for the snap from center. Back in double safety, Johnston and Lowe on the 50-yard line. There's the snap. Dunlop gets off his kick. It's a nice one. Lowe waiting at the 45, fumbles the ball. Johnston picks it up behind him and then is snowed under at the New Symrna Beach 47. So the Barracudas, by electing to take the penalty, lose about 6 or 7 yards, but of course there was no way to forecast that, and they made the wise choice. It just didn't turn out to be advantageous to the Barracuda forces because Lowe fumbled the kick. It rolled behind him as he tried to run up and make a shoestring catch on about the Seabreeze 45, and Johnston picked it up on the 50 and then was snowed under at the New Symrna Beach 47 as he tried to get away. So the Barracudas take over 1st and 10, their own 47. Johnston with the ball, handing off to Lowe, who is stacked up for a loss behind the line of scrimmage. Doyle Lowe is hit for a loss as he tried to get away. A flag is down in the New Symrna Beach backfield. The officials once again call time. We have 2 minutes left in the first quarter. In case you just tuned in, the score is New Symrna Beach 12, Seabreeze nothing. A Seabreeze fumble setting up the first Barracuda touchdown, and a block punt setting up the second TD. Seabreeze co-captains are being consulted.
Bob, I believe there's more enthusiasm from the crowd and the cheerleaders in this one game than a composite of most of the others we've seen this season. They're really fired up for this one tonight.
That's true, and when it's apparent, even through this glass, when we can't get too much of the noise, then you know it's really true.
You're right. They're down here cheering.
New Symrna Beach was guilty of illegal motion, backfield in motion, and Seabreeze declined the penalty because Lowe was thrown for a loss of almost 4 yards on the play. Let's call it 4 yards. The ball is spotted at the New Symrna Beach 44. Now let's call it 3. Spotted at the New Symrna Beach 44. It's 2nd and 13 for the Barracudas from their own 44. They lead 12-0 here in the first quarter. Johnston on the keeper drives into a stone wall at the 45. He may have picked up a yard as his momentum carried to the 46, and once again we have penalty flags on the ground. Ronnie Johnston, the quarterback, faked a couple of handoffs to David Neely, the fullback, and the left halfback Doyle Lowe then swung out and made that little half circle as he does on the keeper frequently, and then drives into the left side of his own line, stuck his head down and hit John McManus and Reeves Smith, the right tackle and right guard respectively, and they stopped him on the 46 after a gain of 2. The penalty against the Barracudas, and this time it will be accepted because it's going to be for 15 yards against New Smyrna Beach. Back to the 31-yard line. New Smyrna Beach penalized back to the 31 for personal foul. Personal foul penalty moves the ball back to the New Smyrna Beach 31. So it's second down and plenty of yardage to go. Let's see, second down and about 27 yards to go. Ronnie Johnston, the quarterback, gives the handoff to Lowe, who once again can't go anywhere as he drives across the 30 and across the 31, the line of scrimmage. The hole closed up quickly, and the Sandcrabs have risen up to give some very good reasons why they're favored in this ball game. Although they trail 12-0 here in the first quarter, they're stopping the Barracudas here in their own territory, as the Cudas now have third down and about 27 yards to go from their own 31-yard line. No gain on that last play. Johnston gets the ball. There's a pitch out back to Barrow, who fumbles the ball. There's a wild scramble, and let's see who recovers. Seabreeze recovers. Seabreeze recovers a fumble by Mike Barrow. Actually, that was a trick play where the ball was passed back from center to Barrow, the right halfback, a direct pass, sailing between Johnston's legs, and the pass was a little bit high. Barrow had to throw his hands up. He got his hands up and touched the ball but couldn't hang on. It was a wild scramble, and Seabreeze recovered the fumble. Now here's a handoff to Rodney Nance, who's hit for a loss on his first attempt at carrying the ball and dropped at the New Smyrna Beach 26-yard line, 27-yard line. Call it no gain on the play. It will be second down and 10 to go from the New Smyrna Beach 27, where Jack Weller recovered the fumble by Mike Barrow a moment ago. Second and 10 for Seabreeze, and the Sandcrabs now have an injured player lying on the ground at the New Smyrna Beach 28. So Seabreeze now trying to get back in the ball game, trailing 12-0, is on the New Smyrna Beach 27. Second down and 10 to go. Time is called, and here's Bill.
Thank you, Bob. No, friends, test after test has proven that Cosmos Spar Varnish for furniture or floors can really take it. Mitchell and Alexander, Measury headquarters on North Orange Street, can demonstrate Cosmos Spar Varnish. Scalding water, perfumes, alcoholic drinks, even the hammering of horses' hoofs won't harm Cosmos Spar Varnish. For real protection for your floors or furniture, get Cosmos Spar Varnish at Mitchell Alexander. Robert, you're loosening your shirt, I see. Do you feel a little warm?
It's a little warm in here with no ventilation.
You're right.
Except the back door. 30 seconds remain on the clock in the first quarter. The Barracudas have scored twice here in the opening period. Dunlop is the injured player, Scotty Dunlop, and he goes off under his own power. Jack Weller comes in at quarterback. And the Seabreeze Sandcrabs have Martin Nass, Flavel Miller, and Elwood Hyde in the top of the tee. Barracudas with a 5-4-2 defense. Here's the pitch back to Elwood Hyde, starting around his own left side. Cuts back and is tripped up at the 25-yard line. He may have gained a yard or two before he was stopped by Andy Crawford and Robert Harmon. That'll bring up third down. They spotted on the 25. Third and 8 for Seabreeze from the New Smyrna Beach 25. 5 seconds left in the first quarter, and the clock is moving. There's the whistle by the referee as the hands on the clock at the north end of the field are straight up, indicating the end of the first quarter, and the teams will exchange goals with the ball on the New Smyrna Beach 25-yard line. Seabreeze in possession with a third and about 8 to go, with the score, New Smyrna Beach 12, Seabreeze nothing.
Say no, friends, this is just the kind of weather for me to report to you, especially the women fans, about a big special at Thomas Pharmacy. It's a special on Tussie's Wind and Weather Skin Lotion, the soft beauty treatment your hands and skin deserve. The regular $2 size, now only $1. The $1 size, just 50 cents. Call it half price if you wish, but it's still the same wonderful Tussie Wind and Weather Lotion thousands of women prefer. Get it at savings tomorrow at Thomas Pharmacy on Canal Street. Time in and time in Bob.
Thanks, Bill. The Sandcrabs now out of the huddle, and up over the ball comes Tim Madden. T formation with Weller, the quarterback. Hands off to Dunlop, who's back in the ball game. Dunlop sticks his head down, drives hard across the 25, across the 20, and flags go down as Dunlop moves on forward to about the 17-yard line. If the play is allowed to stand, it will be close to a first down, as Scotty Dunlop drove for 7 or 8 yards between left guard and left tackle. The officials are discussing the option with Ronnie Johnston and Tim Madden. It's impossible to tell at this point from here just who was guilty of a rules infraction. If the play is allowed to stand, it will be very close to a first down. Seabreeze was offside. The ball is spotted at the 19. And the only thing we can figure is that both sides were offside. The ball spotted at the 19 with 3rd and 4. 3rd down and 4 from the 19 with Weller, the quarterback. Hands off to Dunlop, driving in, and he may have gone for the first down. Let's see whether or not he made it. Down to about the 16. Moving in to make the stop was Robert Harmon, and the officials will call time to measure. Andy Crawford also in on that last tackle. Seabreeze in white helmets with a red stripe front to back, white jerseys with red numerals and red armbands, and white pants. The Barracudas also in white helmets with a red stripe front to back, also in white pants, but the difference is the Barracudas wearing bright red jerseys with white numerals and white armbands. Both schools have red and white as the school colors. It is a first down for Seabreeze. A first down for the Sandcrabs on the New Smyrna Beach 16-yard line as the Crabs begin to get back in the ball game, trailing 12-0. They have a 1st and 10 on the New Smyrna Beach 16, aiming for that north end zone. Here is Weller fading to pass, lobs one out in the corner, in the northeast corner, incomplete. Joe Benedict knocked it down. It was intended for Martin Nass, who had gone into the northeast corner near the flag which marks the goal line. And now we have more revamping of the Seabreeze backfield. Porter Baxter doing a fine job of keeping up with the changes. Jack Weller has moved to quarterback. Martin Nass and Scotty Dunlop are the halfbacks now. Flavel Miller is the fullback. Now here is Weller, the quarterback, handing off to the left halfback, Dunlop, who drives in across the 15. He's upended suddenly by Andy Crawford, and they spotted on the 15. He picked up a yard. Brings up 3rd and 9 from the 15-yard line of New Smyrna Beach for the Seabreeze Sandcrabs, trailing by 2 touchdowns with 11 minutes and 15 seconds left in the second quarter. Seabreeze's homecoming game at Welch Memorial Stadium in Daytona Beach. Weller, the quarterback, a flanker out to the right is Miller, and here's a handoff to Dunlop, who gets to a big hole, gets a nice block, running hard across the 10 to 15, and he goes into the end zone for a touchdown. Across the 10, across the 5, and into the end zone goes Scotty Dunlop, the 160-pound back who plays both halfback and quarterback. He's been the star runner for the Sandcrabs, and all of a sudden these white-clad crabs are right back in the ball game, and the Seabreeze stands across the way on the east side are going wild. 12-6 is the score. New Smyrna Beach leading with Seabreeze attempting the extra point. Martin Nass will kick. Jack Weller will hold. There's the snap from center. The ball is down. Nass's kick is up in the air. It's good. And the score is New Smyrna Beach 12, Seabreeze 7, with 11 minutes left in the second quarter. And what do you think of that, Bill Armstrong?
Well, Robert, I think that's fine football we're beginning to see here on both sides. Say, I want to ask everybody listening a question, though. Is there a little fella in your family who wants a car of his own for Christmas? Well, why not go down and choose it, lay it away for the big day at Western Auto? Western Auto not only has a terrific selection of cars, tractors, fire trucks to drive, but you'll pay less for them than elsewhere. It's a fact. Western Auto's prices on those cars are as much as $5 less than other stores. Lay away that little boy's car or fire truck now at Western Auto, 419 Canal Street. The biggest selection, the lowest prices anywhere around. And tell him you heard about it on the football game. Will you do that?
Well, Scotty Dunlop just gave a valid reason for his fine reputation as a runner as he streaked 15 yards for the Seabreeze touchdown And Martin Nass place kicked the extra point to give the Seabreeze a 5-point deficit, which is a great deal better than 12. Scotty Dunlop will kick off. Ronnie Johnston is deep for the Barracudas in the center of the field between the sidelines at the 10-yard line. Here's a kick at the low line drive type, bouncing down on the 25, picked up at the 20 by Doyle Lowe, coming back hard, gets a good block across the 30, across the 35, the 40, the 45, the 50, and down he goes on the Seabreeze side of the 50. Doyle Lowe with good blocking ran that kickoff back beautifully to the 50-yard line, where the officials spot the ball. They move it back a yard and say that his knee hit at the 50. Scotty Dunlop, who kicked off, made the tackle, and Lowe was almost gone. Dunlop, the last man, pulled him down at the 50-yard line. So the Barracudas have 1st and 10 from the midfield stripe. They're leading 12-7 here in the second quarter. Here is Mike Barrow driving across the 50 down to the Seabreeze 46-yard line before they stack him up. The officials move in and put the ball on the 46 and then push it back to the 47. So it's a gain of 3 yards, 2nd and 7. Ronnie Miller, the linebacker, and Walt Teller made the stop at the 47. Here's a handoff to Doyle Lowe, driving hard across the 45, down to the 40. And Lowe went through there like a bolt of lightning with his helmet down. He projected himself down to the 40-yard line. It's close to a first down, maybe short by about a foot. Gordon Albright finally made the stop on him, and it's short by a foot. The nose of the ball is just 1 foot from the 40. On the Seabreeze side of the midfield stripe, the Barracudas have 3rd and a 1/3 of a yard to go. Ronnie Johnston leads his team. The quarterback barks the signals. Johnston keeps, drives in on the quarterback sneak and makes it. Johnston goes for the first down before he's thrown back by the middle of the Seabreeze line, led by the linebackers, Walt Teller and Ronnie Miller. Ball is spotted on the Seabreeze 39-yard line. The first down and 10 to go for New Smyrna Beach, leading in the ball game 12-7 with 9 minutes left in the first half. New Smyrna Beach having scored 2 touchdowns in the early moments of the ball game. One set up by a fumble, one set up by a blocked punt. Seabreeze came back to recover a fumble and score a touchdown early in the second quarter. It's 12-7 now as Johnston sends Lowe in. There's a flag on the play, and Lowe goes down to about the 36 or 37 for a gain of 2 or 3 yards. But there's a flag down, and Tim Madden, one of the Seabreeze co-captains, is being consulted, so apparently it's against the Barracudas. A 5-yard penalty moves the ball back to the 44 for illegal procedure against the Barracudas, and it will bring up a 1st and 15 from the 44. Joe Benedict comes out. Lindsey Carr goes in for the Barracudas, who pop out of the huddle now with a 1st and 15 on the Seabreeze 44. New Smyrna Beach leading 12-7 here in the second quarter. Johnston gives off to Doyle Lowe, starting around the right side, cuts back and is hit on a shoestring tackle by Martin Nass, who came up fast and spilled him at the 41-yard line. It's a pickup of 3 yards for Doyle Lowe, who was almost in the clear for perhaps a gain of 5 or 10 yards when Nass drove in and hit him around the ankles and dropped him at the 41. A gain of 3 yards, 2nd down and 12 for the Barracudas from the Seabreeze 41. New Smyrna Beach 12, Seabreeze 7 is the score with 8 minutes left in the first half. T formation, Ronnie Johnston calling signal. Seabreeze with a 7-diamond defense. Here's Doyle Lowe on the same play. Around the right side, cuts back to the 38. And once again, Nass comes through quickly with Madden. And also Ronnie Miller has spilled him. They've run the same play twice, and both times Martin Nass was in on the tackle from his defensive left halfback position. Robert Harmon and Joe Benedict now, the Barracuda ends. Coach Pete Mammon substituting his ends on every play. Gilbert Chisholm and Lindsey Carr are now on the sidelines talking to Mammon. Third down and 9 now from the Seabreeze 38. Johnston with the ball, fades for pass, cocks his arm, throws it. It is incomplete, batted down by Elwood Hyatt, intended for Joe Benedict, the 175-pound senior end, who had gone to the Seabreeze 27. Hyatt jumped up in the air and batted the ball down, and it'll bring up 4th down and 9 for the Barracudas from the Seabreeze 38-yard line. 4th down and 9 for New Smyrna Beach from the Seabreeze 38. Johnston talking to his team in the typewriter-type huddle. Seabreeze with a shifting defense right now with a 7 diamond. And Mike Barrow goes back in punt formation, standing on the 50-yard line. Going back in single safety is Elwood Hyatt. Waiting for the snap from center. There it comes. Barrow gets off his kick. It's a high spiral. It's going to bounce on the 20-yard line, bounces down to the 15, down to the 10. They're going to let it roll, and it's blown dead on about the 7-yard line. So Seabreeze will take over on a very nice kick by Mike Barrow, who got it way up in the air, which was what he was trying to do, of course, with short distance to the Seabreeze goal line to give the ends time to get out and also to keep the ball from going into the end zone. And that's just what happened. The ends were down fast. The ball was high in the air. Hyatt had no chance to field it, and it rolled dead on the Seabreeze 7. So it's 1st and 10 for Seabreeze from its own 7-yard line, trying to move out of the shadow of the south goal post. Here's a pitch back to Dunlop, sweeping his own right in, across the 10, across the 15, gets a good block, gets out in the open at the 20, may go all the way to the 30, to the 35, 40, the 45, and there he's finally knocked down by Robert Harmon, one of the fastest of the Barracudas, who raced across with help from Andy Crawford, and they ran him out, let's see, at the 45-yard line of Seabreeze. So the Sandcrabs now have begun to roll on the flying feet of Scotty Dunlop. And now Dunlop, who is suffering from leg injuries, as is David Neely of the Barracudas, goes out of the ball game. Dunlop goes out. And now we have a Seabreeze backfield of Weller, Nass, Miller, and Hyatt. Now with the Sandcrabs trailing 12-7 here in the second quarter, here's Bill Armstrong.
Thank you, Bob. Say, friends, are you planning to remodel your kitchen or perhaps to add extra cabinets? Well, then call Wright & Ford Millworks on Palmetto Street. Would you like to modernize your kitchen by adding some Formica tabletops or work surfaces? Then call Wright & Ford Millworks. Would a glass top improve your dressing table or your desk? Well, just see Wright & Ford. Or are you modernizing your bathroom with a vanitory? Call Wright & Ford to build it. If it concerns glass, Wright & Ford, right again. Wright & Ford Millworks on Palmetto Street. When you go by there, tell the boys you heard about it on the football game.
Thanks, Bill. Time is still out on the field with Seabreeze in possession of the ball. 1st down and 10 to go from their own 45-yard line with 6 minutes and 5 seconds left in the first half. The score 12-7 in favor of the underdog Barracudas, but Seabreeze roaring back to get very much into the ball game.
Bob, I noticed Scotty Dunlap was a little bothered by loose fingers, slippery fingers in the first quarter, but he's certainly coming back in the second quarter.
That's true. The Seabreeze Sandcrabs have looked like an entirely different club here in the second quarter. The Barracudas jumped off to a quick 12-0 lead by completely outplaying the Sandcrabs in the first period. And the Crabs have come back here in the second period to bounce back with a touchdown on an extra point. That means they're within striking distance of the lead. And now they come out of the huddle. Time is back in with the ball on the Seabreeze 45, 1st and 10. New Smyrna Beach leading 12-7. Seabreeze trying to drive for the north goal line. Here's a handoff to Miller, who cuts off his own right tackle across the 45, across the 50, gets a good block and goes to the New Smyrna Beach 45. Andy Crawford finally dragged him down. It's a 1st down for Seabreeze. And now the officials put the ball on the New Smyrna Beach 44-yard line. 1st down and 10 to go for Seabreeze. Driving on the ground here in the second quarter with 5.5 minutes left. The score 12-7 in favor of New Smyrna Beach. Seabreeze on the move. Jack Weller, the quarterback, gets the ball, fakes a handoff, gives to Dunlap on a draw play, straight up the middle, across the 45, the 40, the 38, and now they're tearing big holes in that Barracuda line that was so impregnable in the first quarter. And Dunlop carries to the 38. It's 2nd and 5 from the 38 for the Seabreeze Sandcrabs. Out of the huddle, they come with Madden, the center, over the ball. Weller, the quarterback. And here is a pitch back to Flavel Miller, starting around his own left side. He's hit, laterals back. The ball is lost, a fumble, and Seabreeze, I believe, has recovered. There's a wild scramble on the New Symrna Beach 38-yard line. New Symrna Beach recovers. New Symrna Beach recovers. And that's almost hard to believe because you could see a white jersey dive on that ball, but then there was a wild scramble as Doyle Lowe came up with it. So the Barracudas have temporarily at least sidetracked this Seabreeze Express, which was headed at north end zone. New Symrna Beach protecting a 12-7 lead here with 4.5 minutes left in the first half, has recovered a Seabreeze fumble. And now the Barracudas call timeout to talk it over, and here to talk it over for us is Bill Armstrong.
Thank you, Bob. You know, I was sitting here smoking my pipe, which is no doubt smothering everybody else in this little closed booth. That reminded me that Thomas Pharmacy is Smokers' headquarters. You know that? Thomas have a wonderful selection of pipes for the men in your life. His famous K-Woody pipes of New York and London, both super grain and standard, prices range from $5 to $12.50. Thomas Pharmacy also features Purex pipes from $1 to $5, including briar, filter, and aluminum double safety lock pipes. And along with his favorite pipe or a new one for his collection, give him a smart tobacco pouch. Gift shopping is easy. If he's a pipe man, just shop Thomas Pharmacy. Friends, let me tell you, as a pipe smoker, there's nothing a pipe smoker does appreciate so much as a brand new pipe to add to the collection. It's one of those things that you hate to spend money for, but you love to get for a present.
You could be hinting, Bill, at Christmas coming.
Yeah, that's right, too. Anybody wants to send me a pipe.
You know, we have some colors tonight reminiscent of Christmas, red and white on both sides of the field. Both cheerleaders in red and white, the Barracuda cheerleaders in white sweaters with red skirts. Seabreeze with an opposite color combination, red sweaters with white skirts. Carol Patchy, the Barracuda's captain of cheerleaders, down there along with Doris Powell, Mary Ann Sawyer, Barbara Larrabee, Kay Kennedy, Pat Corey, Lois Nouse, Mary Evans, and Ronnie Unger. The Seabreeze cheerleaders are Judy Prim, Ann Wilson, Judy Malik, Donna Dunlap, Pat Lucy, Sylvia Davis, Fane Lavelle, Kathy Dre, and Carolyn Law. Now time is in. The Barracudas with the ball. Johnston takes a handoff, keeps on the option, flips back to Barrow, who's trying to sweep his own left end, but he can't get away, and he's dropped for a loss on the 35-yard line by, let's see who broke through to stop him. He managed to get back to the 35, but that's all. Walt Teller was in fast to throw him at the 35 is where they spot. Let's see where they spot it. They move it up now to the 36. So it's no gain on the play. See, the sideline marker is not lined up with the ball. That's the reason for our confusion. The original line of scrimmage was the 35. That's where the, let's see, the original line of scrimmage was the 37. That's where the fumble was recovered. And now it's on the 35, a loss of 2 yards as they finally line up the sideline marker with the ball. It's 2nd and 12 for the Barracudas from their own 35-yard line. Once again, we have a brief timeout on the field, and that'll give us an opportunity to call in Porter Baxter, whom we want to consult a little more elaborately at halftime, and ask Porter what he thinks of the hostilities thus far.
Bob, it's been mainly on the backs tonight. They seem to be breaking loose. There seems to be big holes in the line on both teams. This Dunlop just went through a hole that you could have put a truck through. No one touched him. And it seems that way going the other direction. Doyle Lowe has made a couple of beautiful runs where he hadn't been touched until he got to the safety man. So it looks like the line play is vicious enough on offensive plays so that the backs have plenty of room to run.
Well, thanks a lot for that observation, Porter, and that's very true. Both teams have had good blocking, And this ball game is certainly far from over. It's anybody's contest with New Smyrna Beach leading 12-7 with 4 minutes and 15 seconds left in the first half. New Smyrna Beach now out of the huddle, 2nd and 12 from their own 35-yard line for the Barracudas. And here's Mike Barrow smashing up the middle for about 3 yards up to about the 38. And the gap is closed. Flavel Miller helped to close it on him. And Mike Barrow goes down after moving the ball to the 39, they call it. So it's 3rd and 8 for the Barracudas from their own 39. 3rd down and 8 to go. They race out of the huddle with Larry Marchington over the pigskin. Flanker out to the right is David Neely. Here is a handoff to Doyle Lowe driving up the middle across the 40, the 45-yard line. Let's see where they put the ball before he is dropped. The ball is spotted on the 47. That's almost enough for a first down. They say his momentum carried to the 47 before he was thrown back by Scotty Dunlop. That was Mike Barrow on the carry instead of Doyle Lowe as we gave it to you. The officials have called time to measure, although from here it doesn't look too close, possibly a foot and a half or so. Of course, Ronnie Johnston, the Barracuda captain, can call for a measurement on any questionable play just to see how much yardage he needs, and that's what has happened. Johnston has called for a measurement. The officials oblige, and they show him just how much he needs, about a foot and a half. And so Johnston goes back to talk it over with his team in the huddle. 4th down and less than a yard, and they're going to try for it. They're not going to kick. 3 minutes left in the half. Barracuda's leading 12-7. They line up in T formation, Neely flanker to the right. 4th and less than a yard on their own 47. And here is a pitch out to Barrow, who drives in for the first down, goes up to the 50. May have made it to the Seabreeze 49 before Jack Weller tripped him up. Big Mike Barrow, the 173-pound senior right halfback, running hard, hammers to the Seabreeze 49. So the Barracudas gambled on 4th down with less than a yard. It paid off as they try to run out the clock, leading 12-7 with 2 minutes and 35 seconds left in the first half. They have a first down on the Seabreeze 49-yard line. Johnston with the ball and hands off to Doyle Lowe, who cracks the left side, goes down to the 48, possibly the 47, and that's all. Lowe moves it to the 47 and a half. It's squarely between the 45 and the 50. 2nd down and 8 yards to go. 2nd and approximately 8. Coach Pete Mammon again exchanging his ends. Joe Benedict comes out, and Robert Harmon is out. Or rather, Gilbert Chisholm is out. We have Robert Harmon and Lindsey Carr in there now. Now here is a handoff to Doyle Lowe, switching his own right end. He cuts back at the 50 to the 45, the 40, and he's run out of bounds on the 36-yard line after a brilliant burst if the play is allowed to stand, but there's a flag back on the line of scrimmage. Doyle Lowe raced to the 36 for an apparent first down if the play is allowed to stand, but there is a flag on the play. The Seabreeze secondary ran him out, led by Flavel Miller and Jack Weller. Discussion on the field. Captains from both teams talking the situation over on the Seabreeze 36. The clock is stopped with 1 minute 50 seconds left in the first half. The score, New Smyrna Beach 12, Seabreeze 7. And apparently the penalty will be against the Barracudas because it's being called back. The play is being called back, and 5 yards being stepped off against New Smyrna Beach. An offside penalty moves it back to the New Smyrna Beach side of the 50 to the Barracuda 47. Brings up a 2nd and better than 13, almost 14. Let's call it 14 for the Barracudas from their own 47. 2nd down, 14 yards to go from their own 47 with 1 minute 50 seconds left in the first half. Barracudas clinging to a 12-7 lead. Ronnie Johnston, the quarterback, gets that ball. Starts around his own right end on a keeper, has Neely out in front of him as a blocker. Lowe throws a good block. Neely throws one. Johnston cuts the corner to the 40 to the 50 to the 45 to the 40, and he's run out on about the Seabreeze 38-yard line if the player is allowed to stand. But there's a flag back on the original line of scrimmage, and once again, I believe the Barracudas were offside. Mario Fazio, the big left tackle, in his eagerness to lay his block, jumped the line of scrimmage, and he's talking now to the head linesman, Frank Zimmerman, about it, as they walk back to the original line of scrimmage, where 5 yards is paced off, moving the ball back to the 42. So less than 10 seconds were consumed by that play before the clock was stopped. 8 seconds were used up, which means we have a minute and 42 seconds left on the clock on top of the scoreboard at the north end of the field. This stadium, completely encircled by a high concrete wall, makes a very beautiful appearance, painted a light green. And now the Barracudas have a second down and plenty of yardage to go. Here is the same play. Johnson on the keeper. Lowe throws a good block. Neely throws a nice block, but suddenly, out of nowhere, comes Elwood Hyatt, and he stops Johnston on the 48-yard line. Stopped him on the 48 after a 6-yard pickup on a sweep of his own right end. Elwood Hyatt came up from the secondary and spilled Johnston on the keeper. So the officials now call time. Officials are calling time. Apparently, somebody needs the lacing on his pads repaired. It's Doyle Lowe, who comes over to the New Smyrna Beach side, which is our side of the field, the west side. One of the officials is there with Coach Pete Mammon as he attempts to fix the shoulder pads of his left halfback, Doyle Lowe. He gets a fresh lace now from one of the Barracuda managers, David Wilder. And in just a moment, Lowe will be back in the ball game. But while he's on the sideline, let's bring in Bill Armstrong for a comment.
Thank you, Bob. Say, friends, can you kind of visualize how that old piece of furniture at the auction, or that unfinished bookcase in the store, will look after a coat of Measure's Perfection enamel? Here's the enamel that converts old things into beauty, adds color to the new. Mitchell Alexander is the place to go for Measure's Perfection enamel. Mitchell Alexander will show you how easy Perfection enamel is to use, and they'll show you why it's called 4-hour enamel, too. Ask for Measure's 4-hour Perfection enamel. Right, Bob?
Right. Bill, I notice among the very large delegation from New Smyrna Beach here tonight, the University of Florida freshman football player, Ken Phillips, who was a star all-around athlete for the Cudas last year. And I'm just wondering if Ken will get back into Gainesville in time for that game with the Miami freshmen tomorrow afternoon.
Well, I'm hoping, because the way Ken played ball for New Smyrna Beach and the way he must be playing for Florida, they can certainly use him in any game they play, especially against Miami.
Right. Well, there's certainly a large segment of the New Smyrna Beach population over here in the West Stands tonight.
There is, Bob. This is the best, I believe, out-of-town showing that New Smyrna Beach fans have made. This, I believe, they almost match the Seabreeze fans. Of course, this is the home game.
Very fine crowd. Now the Cudas ready to move the ball. Johnston on a double reverse. Barrow gets the ball and is hit, and he may have dropped that ball. Nope, I believe he held on as he's dropped it to 50. Mike Barrow on a double reverse moved it for about 2 yards to the 50, and the Barracudas call timeout with exactly 1 minute left in the first half. The Seabreeze band is poised at the north end of the field, ready to move onto the field, and now they're marching to a position just beyond the north goal post with the clock standing straight up showing 1 minute. Once again, the Barracudas have called time. Apparently, the Cudas are trying to get another touchdown before this half is over. Instead of running out the clock with a 5-point lead, they're attempting to keep that ball moving because they've called time here to stop the clock. And Gilbert Chisholm goes into the ball game. Robert Harmon is in, and the other two ends, Lindsey Carr and Joe Benedict, come out. Seabreeze is not huddling on this timeout. They're waiting up at the line of scrimmage with a 4th down situation and 10 yards to go. Scotty Dunlop is going back into safety. And, of course, that throws into a cocktail what we were just talking about a moment ago, strategy of moving the ball. Because with a 4th down coming up, it remains to be seen just what Coach Pete Mammon will call for, because he sent in a couple of substitutions And certainly those boys who went in will have the suggestion for quarterback Ronnie Johnston. It's Mike Barrow going back into punt formation, standing on his own 37. 4th and 10. Dunlop standing single safety back on his own 15. Barrow gets off a nice spiral, angling for the sidelines. It bounces on the 23. Dunlop's going to let it roll. It rolls back to the 20 to the 15 and is covered on the 15-yard line by Gilbert Chisholm. Gilbert Chisholm, the big Barracuda end, was down fast to kill the ball on the Seabreeze 15-yard line. So the Sandcrabs will take over with 45 seconds left in the first half. And once again, time is called on the field. So once again, we'll bring in Bill Armstrong.
Thank you, Robert. You know, when we're talking about footballs, you know, when it comes to footballs, also archery, croquet, badminton sets, well, you can't beat the selection at Western Auto at 419 Canal Street. You can't beat those items as gifts for youngsters and teenagers, too. Fishing equipment or pogo sticks, Western Auto has these for all ages. The fact is, in New Smyrna Beach, Western Auto is toy and play headquarters with a big selection of sporting equipment and toys ready for your Christmas layaways. Stocks are complete, there's no rush of shopping. You've everything in your favor to make Christmas shopping for youngsters pleasant and easy if you use Western Auto's layaway plan right now. So come into Western Auto, 419 Canal Street tomorrow for toys, games, and sporting equipment on the simple layaway plan. Like we said, Western Auto is sports and toy headquarters right here in New Smyrna Beach.
Bill, I noticed the Seabreeze Band is ready for its halftime show, and it's entirely probable that with our glass den situation, we won't be able to pick up too much music. Of course, you can describe what the band is doing.
I've been trying to finagle something, Robert. I've been trying to think if our microphone cord will reach out to the door. I don't know. I'll give it a try, though.
All right, the Sandcrabs now come out of the huddle. 45 seconds left in the first half. 1st and 10 from their own 15. Here's a handoff to Dunlop, who breaks through for 3 or 4 yards before he's spilled by David Neely, who with Andy Crawford is backing up the line for the Barracudas. And getting up slowly for the Barracudas is Andy Crawford, who's in there with an injured leg. And now the Barracudas are being penalized 15 yards for a personal foul. Personal foul is being charged against New Smyrna Beach, and 15 yards are being stepped off. That gives Seabreeze a 1st and 10. The Crabs trying to beat the clock are quickly up over the ball. 1st and 10 from their own 35. Now here is Weller fading to pass. So it's a long, long pass. It is almost intercepted, knocked down by Doyle Lowe and by Robert Harmon, who were covering the intended receiver, Flavel Miller, at the New Smyrna Beach 35-yard line. Weller threw a long, high pass. The line of scrimmage was the Seabreeze 35. He faded to the 25 and threw it all the way to the New Smyrna Beach 35, where it was batted down by Harmon and Lowe, who had Miller well covered. So the clock is stopped with 28 seconds left in the first half. New Smyrna Beach leading 12-7. Seabreeze trying to strike back through the air. There may be an offside on that play. A flag goes down. The ball carrier is thrown for a big loss by Big Mario Fazio, who may have been across, however, before the ball was snapped. Apparently he was, because Weller had no chance to get rid of the ball. Fazio was in on him like the super chief, and he drove him back to the 25-yard line of Seabreeze before Weller could do anything about it. Weller was still kicking his legs. Fazio was driving him back and finally dropped him at the 25. New Smyrna Beach is penalized 5 yards. Fazio was offside on the play, and so it gives Seabreeze a 2nd and 5 from its own 40. 2nd and 5 from the 40. 20 seconds left in the half. Weller fading to pass. Throws it. It is batted down, intended for Dunlop at the New Smyrna Beach 45, and knocked down by Ronnie Johnston, who got his hand in front of the ball just in time. Andy Crawford also fell back in a hurry to help cover Dunlop. Doyle Lowe came across to assist Johnson on the play. So it brings up a 3rd and 5. The clock is stopped with 19 seconds left in the half. Weller calling signal, gets that ball, pitches back to Dunlop, starting around his own right side, cuts back across the line of scrimmage, and that's about all. He may have picked up 2 yards. The clock continues to run with 10 seconds left. The ball is spotted on the 42. 5 seconds left. David Neely made the tackle, and now suddenly Seabreeze has called time to stop the clock with 4 seconds remaining. Seabreeze trailing 12-7, 4 seconds remaining in the first half. Joe Benedict hit Scotty Dunlop pretty hard as he knocked him down on that far sideline, and Dunlop is hobbling over to the bench. And the Sandcrabs will have a 4th down with 3 yards to go from their own 42.5-yard line when the clock starts to run. The clock is running, and here is Weller calling for the ball. And before they can run the play, the officials jump in and say the half has ended. They started the clock when the referee signaled ready for play, and Weller did not get the ball within the 4 seconds remaining. And so the half ends here at Welsh Memorial Stadium in Daytona Beach. And in just a moment, we'll have the halftime show at Seabreeze Homecoming with the score, New Smyrna Beach 12, Seabreeze 7. And now to bring you the colorful halftime show, here's Bill Armstrong.
Well, thank you, Robert. I see the cheerleaders dashing across the field holding hands. The New Smyrna Beach cheerleaders being escorted by the Seabreeze Sandcrab gals. So that doesn't sound quite right for a gal, does it? The Seabreeze Sandcrab gals, but that's the name of the school, no worse than Barracudas, I don't suppose. And there is the Seabreeze band out on the field. The drum majorettes looking very pretty in their white and red satin uniforms. There's a bugle section just immediately behind them in a line, and the band itself, along with I believe it must be the pep club, waving red and white shakers, one in each hand, one red, one white, and they're marching up the field. We describe the formations they do make as they occur. The drum majorette's looking very smart indeed. Very beautiful blonde gal, from what I can see from here, leading the whole entourage, coming up the field and doing some fine precision stepping to the sounds of that music. I'm sorry we can't get the band music to you. We can't quite pick it up. You see, we are enclosed, as Bob has told you numerous times, in glass here, sealed in, as it were. But this is, let me say, that's not a derogatory remark at all, because this is a very beautiful stadium, and this by far the finest press box that we've come up to so far this season. The band is directly in front of us now, the Seabreeze band, looking very smart indeed in their red, very brilliant red uniforms with the thin white stripe down the leg and the white epaulets and insignia on the uniform themselves. The pep club doing a tricky maneuver down just to the rear of the band on the north end of the field. The band starting a counter march now. The drum majorette's coming through. Here comes the chief majorette, the leader of the band, coming around. The band executing very smart counter marching. And while we're on the subject of bands, I must add that the New Smyrna Beach Barracuda band is looking very, very smart indeed. This their, I believe, second public appearance in their new band uniforms, isn't it, Bob? Second appearance?
That's right.
Looking very smart indeed. And all those people who helped toward getting those uniforms for the band can feel mighty proud, or at least they would if they were right here tonight watching this game. Seabreeze band marching over toward us right now. The pep club, one half forming up in the center of the field about the 50-yard line, the others waiting for some unknown signal to me as yet. I see the Seabreeze homecoming, I guess she'd be the queen and her hostesses, just at the 50-yard line, escorted by 3 young gentlemen, the 3 young ladies. The band is forming in front of the homecoming hostesses. I believe this will probably be a salute either to them or to the New Smyrna Beach side of the stand. We'll tell you just as soon as we tell you what the band is doing here. Now that the band is directly in front of us, perhaps we may possibly pick up just a little bit of that band music to you. I'll try and get the gain on the microphone up to you and see if we can penetrate this glass with some of that band music. The band now marching into formation, almost completed, and as we've told you, there is very much a crowd in evidence here this evening. The Seabreeze stand packed to near capacity, and the same for the visitor stand. About 4,000 people here tonight, I'm just told. 4,000 people, which is certainly a fine crowd. The band is forming a crown for I believe, for the homecoming hostess, and she'll probably make her entrance through this. Yes, she is. The drum majorettes twirl their batons, making a sort of archway of batons for the homecoming queen and her attendants and the 3 young gentlemen escorts they have with them, marching slowly onto the field. The Seabreeze stands now starting to rise. The pep club gives a salute with their shakers, and they are walking slowly across the field to a slow march by the band. I wish I could describe the music to you. Only once in a while can we catch the strains of the music as it comes up from the field. Bob, did you have anything you wanted to note while we're waiting for this?
Well,
maneuver
Bill,
to
I
be
noticed that
completed
the News Journal is well represented tonight by Bernard Kahn, Bob Desiderio, and Tom Brown. And I believe Bob Desiderio is covering the statistics for the ball game, and I'd like to bring him in right now to read his statistics for us, if he would. Just start at the top and go right through them, if you would, Bob.
All right, thank you, Bob. Well, the game has been featured most of all by timeouts, it seems. The first half took an hour and 5 minutes. That's about 20 minutes over par. Now, it hasn't been an outstanding game as far as yardage or passing, but the only outstanding statistic is the New Symrna Beach penalty. New Symrna Beach has been penalized 60 yards to Seabreeze's 5, and shows not so much, they're not too aggressive, though. It's been mostly offside. A little over-eagerness on their part. Now, the rushing yardage for Seabreeze, 82 yards rushing, and for New Symrna Beach, 86. Of course, that isn't net, but that is the rushing yardage. First downs are about evenly balanced. Seabreeze has racked up 4 first downs, 3 over the ground, and 1 for a penalty. New Symrna Beach has racked up 3 first downs, 2 rushing, 1 passing. That came on a 16-yard pass in the first period. Now, passing-wise, New Symrna Beach has completed the 1 pass in the game. Seabreeze has not been very successful. They've tried 3 times for no yards, no completions. Punting yardage is definitely all New Symrna Beach. The Barracudas have punted twice, 32 and 35 yards. In the fumbles department, both teams have been very unsuccessful with their fumbles. They've lost them all. Seabreeze has fumbled twice and lost both. New Symrna Beach won and lost that one. And that just about covers the statistics. As I say, they're not too significant for the first half, except for the scoreboard clock, which, as you know, reads 12-7 in favor of the Barracudas. I think that's all about, Bob.
Well, thanks very much, Bob. While we're on the subject of statistics, I'd like to make one comment on behalf of our usual halftime guest, Coach Ted Rosa of the New Symrna Beach High School staff. He usually gives us our halftime statistics at every ball game, both at home and on the road. But tonight, unfortunately, Mrs. Rosa is ill, and so Coach Rosa was unable to make the trip. We're very sorry. We certainly hope that she makes a very speedy recovery. And if Ted is listening, we want to thank him for the times that he has been our guest, and tell him that we will be looking for him next Wednesday night. And Bill, don't forget to remind the fans, and I'll try to do the same, that the Barracudas have their final game of the season next Wednesday night, Thanksgiving Eve, at home against Winter Garden. That ought to be a fine ball game, so don't forget, it's the New Symrna Beach High School Athletic Field, Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, New Symrna Beach versus Winter Garden. We'd like to save Bob Desiderio for a few minutes while Bill Armstrong describes what's going on the field, and when Bill turns it back to us in a moment, Bob, we'll ask you for your personal opinions. Bill, would you like to take over and tell the folks what's happening?
Well, thank you, Bob, and thank you, Bob. I'm outnumbered here in the booth, but I'll do it anyway. The homecoming hostess and her attendants we described to you before, they've been sitting on a private platform here on the sidelines, 6 chairs alone. On the platform, they marched slowly across the field while the band gave them a musical salute. The drum majorettes formed a baton arch for them. They were marched to another platform on the opposite side of the field at the 50-yard line. The Seabreeze stands, the fans all rising. They're all standing for a tribute to the homecoming queen. A very fine tribute indeed. They were just introduced. I'm sorry you couldn't hear the applause or the introductions. I'm waiting for the information on the identities of those people. Hasn't reached me as yet. There's not too much activity on the field. All the activity during this halftime at the moment is being carried on the opposite sideline, as I've just described to you, with the introduction of the homecoming queen and her entourage, which is a very fine word for halftime at a football game, don't you think, Robert?
Very good.
Whatever it means. I've described to you the band. I don't believe New Symrna is going to perform at all during this halftime. Is that right, Bob?
I was talking to the New Symrna Beach director, Mr. W.R. Snowden, just before game time. He said they had a show all planned to do tonight, but unfortunately there's only so much time between halves of a football game, and when he arrived he found out that the Seabreeze halftime show was planning to consume the entire intermission. So therefore, the New Smyrna Beach High School band will have to be content to sit on the sidelines and play music.
Well, they haven't been inactive, Bob. They've been striking up some fine music. WR, we'll call him Gob, shall we? Gob Snowden, the director of the band, has been coaching the band lately on these rock and roll tunes. I believe they were playing 17 just before the kickoff, and when New Smyrna scored their second touchdown, they struck up a chorus of "Ain't That a Shame," if my musical knowledge serves me right. We hope they can continue to play that. Of course, that's for the New Smyrna Beach fans who are tuned in. The Daytona Beach fans, well, we hope they can, because we've got to stay impartial here, Bob. Friends, before we do go into some more statistics, while the band is marching off the field in a salute as the homecoming queen returns to her place here in front of the press box, I want to give you a message from Mitchell Alexander. Ask anyone who uses Majory paint, and they'll tell you Majory is good paint. Ask anyone where to get Majory paint, the answer, of course, Mitchell Alexander. Now, if you have any kind of paint job to do, see Mitchell Alexander from Majory Paint. There's 4-hour perfection enamel, and there's Majory Supreme House Paint that's second to none. Cosmo Spar Varnish, so tough your floors won't show even the marks of horses' hooves, if they could hammer through your house, of course. There's Wanda, the magic rubber-based paint for interiors, and, of course, famous El Majuro for brick and stucco and all kinds of masonry surfaces. There's a Majory paint for every purpose, every surface. And Mitchell Alexander's the place to go for any and all Majory paints. Majory, which is known throughout the trade and the country as the good paint. And that's all the recommendation that a fine paint such as Majory deserves and needs. Robert, did you have a thing you wanted to bring up? I believe you did.
I wanted to bring Bob Desiderio back for one more session. Before, he was giving us cold, dry statistics. Now I'd like to have his opinion on what transpired in the first half and what he looks for in the second half. Bob?
Well, Bob, I'll tell you, keeping statistics, I don't pay much attention to the play-by-play. That may sound odd, but I'm worried about yards and inches and first downs, and I don't always know who even carries the ball. We leave that up to Tom Brown, who covers the game and writes the play-by-play. But it was definitely the Barracudas for the first period. In fact, it was so bad, if my brief note here serves me, the deepest Seabreeze penetration was to their own 32 in the first period, except when they recovered that fumble, which led to the touchdown in the second period, their lone score. And, of course, that touchdown with the extra point means they're less than a touchdown from winning this game if they score again. Both teams have toughened up considerably in the second period. They're fighting for ground. They won't give it up. Seabreeze, of course, has shown the greatest recovery since they allowed New Smyrna Beach to sort of almost run them out of the stadium in that first period. But they've come back. Now, as for the ball carriers, I'm sorry I can't help you there because, like I say, I don't watch the numbers. I just watch the sidelines. But it looks like it's going to be a wonderful game before it's over.
Well, thanks very much, Bob Desiderio. And right now we'd like to bring in Bill Armstrong to interview another member of the News Journal Press Corps.
We are really plugging the News Journal this evening, Robert, but these are the boys who've been writing the stories, and we're the ones that we read them. And this is a good friend, Mr. Norm Wolf. Norm, I see you made the trip over safely.
Yeah, Bill, I'm just a spectator tonight. I'm not
writing.
I got the first team in tonight.
The first team.
Tom Brown, Bob Desiderio, the very fine sports writer of the News Journal. You'll be reading their accounts of the ball game tomorrow, seeing their pictures in the Morning Journal.
I believe Bob Patillo said that Benny Kahn was here too.
Benny's here too. I think he's a spectator tonight too, enjoying the game. Told me downstairs he's very impressed with Mario Fazio. Fazio's been giving some little hard time not getting off sides, but he's a big, strong boy, and he's got to make him a good college ball player, I think.
Well, of course, during the game you say, well, that's Fazio offside again, but then you think back in the last 5 or 6 games, and I believe he's earned a couple of offsides.
I'll tell you, Bill, he's hurting them out there tonight, too, don't you think?
He really is.
And he's a rough boy, and he'll hurt you up front.
There's a boy that's not only making tackles, he's making grunts and groans out there, too.
Yeah, he's making the bone crushers.
Norm, what are you looking for in the second half tonight?
Bill, I'm a little bit afraid to look forward to the second half because Seabreeze is bouncing back, and the New Smyrna is going to have to pull itself together and come out strong like they did in that first period if they're going to stay with Seabreeze, because Seabreeze has got a good ball club, and you can't expect them to stay down through the whole game.
I believe a lot of help was given to New Smyrna by just the shock effect they hit on Seabreeze.
They certainly had them up for the game tonight. They really went out there and hit Seabreeze before I think they didn't know the game was started before they were 2 touchdowns down. and you got to give them credit, they've come back strong. But New Smyrna is looking good. Doyle Lowe and Mike Barrow running very well, and if the Cudas can shake one of those two boys loose, I think they'll score again, and they'll be tough to beat.
Well, we're looking forward to it. Maybe you'll be around after the game and see how you came out.
Okay, Bill, I congratulate you and Bob Patillo again on doing a very fine job. I'm sure the people who weren't able to make the trip tonight are very appreciative of your efforts here at the microphone.
Well, thank you, Norman. My good friend, no more. We'll see if we can get him back a little later on. The band, the Seabreeze band, once again, I keep apologizing for not being able to bring you any of that music, which is why we've kept up this continuous chatter during the halftime for want of anything else to do. Of course, we did have Bob Patillo on tap. He was going to sing a song, but we couldn't get any accompaniment for him other than myself humming on my comb and through some tissue paper, so we didn't think that would go over too well. We're looking for someone else to interview for you, someone else to bring to you for some interesting notes on the game. We'd like to get as many interviews as we possibly can during the course of the game, just to get the different and varied opinions, because Bob and myself don't know. We may miss something, or we may see something that didn't happen. We'd like to get as many as we can. Bob, who do you have with you?
Well, I've got a former mainland all-time athlete, Seabreeze, a man who now is a Barracuda backer. Well, I think Mike Barrow for New Symrna is probably the most improved ball player we've got on the whole team. And he looks awfully good tonight. Neely's doing a good job on defense. Johnson's playing good ball. Most of the kids are going good.
What do you think about the line, Wes?
Well, the line is a couple of boys there just a little anxious, but they're if they can settle down a little, they'll make it rough on somebody.
Well, Wes, now that you've covered tonight's situation, let's go back and clear up that mystery about whether you went to Seabreeze or mainland. I'm not going to ask you how many years ago, but if you want to volunteer that information, would you?
Well, that was before radio. That was nobody was broadcasting games back in those days. We, of course, that was back in the times when Seabreeze and mainland just had one team.
Oh,
they were together.
I see. Well, where did you play your ball games then, Wes?
Well, we played most of the ball games. We played on City Island, on the outfield.
And a gray hair in his head too.
I'm still picking out sand spurs. That was a real sand spur patch out there, harder than Beach Street.
Well, thanks a lot, Wes. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we get the second half underway?
No, I think that about covers my observations, Bob. Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot, Wes Rowland. And in just a minute, we're going to bring our spotter, Porter Baxter, in. But before we do that, we want to turn the mic back to Bill Armstrong.
Thank you, Bob. You know, while we talk a little bit over the strains of the Muscat Ramble played by band director Snowden and his charges, I want to tell you, men, that you'll never know real shaving comfort till you own a Sunbeam Shave Master from Thomas Pharmacy. And ladies, you'll never give him a gift he'll appreciate more than a Sunbeam Shave Master. The Sunbeam Shave Master has a big, smooth, and I mean smooth, single head that shaves beards as tough as wire, yet doesn't injure the tenderest skin. The Sunbeam Shave Master comes in a compact case so it can go with you anywhere, anytime. Put the name Sunbeam Shave Master on your Christmas thinking list, or if you're downright smart, men, well, you'll stop in at Thomas Pharmacy and get a Sunbeam Shave Master for yourself. You'll have it for sure without waiting for Christmas. A Sunbeam Shave Master from Thomas Pharmacy on Canal Street. When you go in there, tell the doc that you heard about it on the football game. Will you do that for us? Now, Bob, let's bring in Porter and see what he has to say.
All right, we've had Bob Desiderio, Norman Wolfe, and Wes Rowland. Now let's bring in Porter Baxter for his comments.
Well, Bob, it looks like it's been a bruising type game all evening. There's been a lot of vicious line play. It's always my hope that with such a small squad as New Symrna has, I think they have 17 men dressed out tonight, that they can hold up for full 60 minutes of play. I would like to point out something Dr. Rowland mentioned. This boy Barrow has looked extremely good on plays where he gets any kind of blocking at all. He runs very hard and seems to be very tough to bring down. So if we can spring him loose a couple of times, we may carry home the basket of fruit tonight.
Well, thank you very much, Porter. You know, speaking of Mike Barrow, if memory serves us correctly, last week saw Mike score his first touchdown of the season.
on that 14-yard smash that he made against Palatka, which was certainly a hard run. And tonight he's already picked up 2 more. So Mike has scored the last 3 New Smyrna Beach touchdowns, one tonight on a 29-yard run and one on a 4-yard smash. Now we're ready for the second half kickoff. New Smyrna Beach leading 12-7 in a nip and tuck ball game. Doyle Lowe is deep for the Barracudas, standing on his own 7. And here coming forward to boot for Seabreeze is big Scotty Dunlop. It's a short kick and picked up on the 20. Returned to the 25, the 30, up to the 34-yard line. Let's see, Doyle Lowe, it was, who came up fast to scoop up the ball on the bounce. And we took our eyes off Lowe for a moment to watch the ball. Lowe came up on it, picked it up behind a screen of blockers, and returned it 15 yards to the 35. Phil Walser, the junior left end of the Seabreeze Sandcrabs, made the stop. And now the Barracudas have 1st and 10 from their own 35 as we get the third quarter underway. New Smyrna Beach leading 12-7. Seabreeze's homecoming game. A handoff to Big Mike Barrow, driving hard across the 35 up to the 40 before he's dragged down by Walt Teller, the linebacker, on the right side for the Sandcrabs. Barrow appeared to be slowed up a moment, and then he put on a burst of power. And now Mario Fazio comes over to the sideline. He's also apparently popped a lace on his shoulder pads. Officials call time with 11 minutes left in the third quarter. We're just 1 minute deep into the second half of this ball game. New Smyrna Beach scored 2 quick touchdowns, in case you tuned in late, to take a 12-0 lead at the end of the first period. Seabreeze came roaring back after recovering a New Smyrna Beach fumble to pick up a touchdown in the second quarter, and then the all-important extra point was kicked by Martin Nass, and that means that the Barracudas cling to a precarious 5-point lead, 12-7, with 11 minutes left in the third quarter. In other words, the Barracudas got the quick jump, recovering a Seabreeze fumble in the first quarter, and then Mike Barrow running 29 yards for a touchdown, then blocked a Dunlop punt, and after a 16-yard pass from Ronnie Johnston to Lindsey Carr, had set up the touchdown on the 4-yard line. Barrow rambled over from the 4 to make it 12-0. Seabreeze recovered a New Smyrna Beach fumble late in the first period, and early in the second quarter, Scotty Dunlop ran 15 yards for the Seabreeze touchdown, and that's the way it stands. Nass having kicked the extra point. It's New Smyrna Beach 12, Seabreeze 7, with Fazio's shoulder pad repaired now. He's back in the ball game, and we're all set to go with Johnston leading that team out of the huddle. Flacker out to the left is David Neely. Johnston gives the ball to Lowe, driving up the middle across the 45 with good blocking in front of him. And Doyle Lowe, the left halfback, hammers straight ahead with his head down and pushes for that first down at the New Smyrna Beach 46 is where they spot the ball. Reeves Smith and Flavel Miller, with help from Steve Haynes, pull him down at the 46. New Smyrna Beach has a 1st and 10 on the Barracuda's 46-yard line. Seabreeze with a 7-diamond defense now as Johnston sets up his team in a T with Neely a flanker out to the right. Neely hands off to Barrow, quick opener off the right side, picks up a couple of yards. Barrow lunges to the 48-yard line. Reeves Smith, 190-pound junior guard, makes the stop, and it's 2nd down and 8 for the Barracudas from their own 48-yard line. 10 minutes and 5 seconds left in the third quarter. 12-7 the score. New Smyrna Beach on top. The Sandcrabs have Walt Teller and Tim Madden backing up the line. Martin Nass and Flavel Miller, the secondary, and Elwood Hyatt, the safety man. Here's Johnson on the keeper, swinging out to skirt his own right end, gets 2 good blocks in, is tripped up by an ankle-high tackle just about on the line of scrimmage or behind it by Walt Teller, the linebacker, who broke through quickly. And Johnston was tripped up on the 48. No gain. It's 3rd and 8 from their own 48 for the Barracudas. Lindsey Carr goes into the ball game, and Joe Benedict comes out. And now Martin Nass goes out of the ball game for Seabreeze, and Jack Weller comes in at the defensive left halfback position. T formation, Johnson calling signals. Johnston fakes the pass, throws a quick one. It's complete to Lindsey Carr at the 47, the 45, the 40, the 35, and he's thrown out at the Seabreeze 32-yard line. A nice quick pass from Ronnie Johnston to Lindsey Carr, the right end, who speared the ball on the Seabreeze 47. It was about a 5-yard pass from the line of scrimmage, and he ran it down this near western sideline, running southward to the Seabreeze 32-yard line, where it's 1st and 10. Jack Weller made the tackle, the defensive left halfback. Johnston now hands off to Lowe on a quick opener. Lowe driving hard across the 30 down to the 26. And the Barracudas now are on the move, with the Seabreeze defenses loosened up just a trifle by that pass from Johnston to Carr. Lowe stuck his head down and bulleted through to the 26 for a gain of 6. And it's 2nd and 4 for the New Smyrna Beach Barracudas on the Seabreeze 26. Reeves Smith made the tackle. The score is 12-7 in favor of the Barracudas, and here's Bill Armstrong.
Say, friends, you know when you go to Wright and Ford for anything made of wood, well, friends, believe me, you're on the right track. Wright and Ford Millworks have the skill and experience to make any cabinet, mantel, bookcase, or vanitory that your home may need. Consult Wright and Ford. Estimates are free, and they're cheerfully given. All the work is absolutely guaranteed. Remember, if it's made of wood, Wright and Ford can make it. Stop in and see them tomorrow for anything you might need in the way of cabinets, formica work, glass work. See Wright and Ford on Palmetto Street and tell them you heard about it on the football game.
You know, Bill, one of the advantages of this very modern collegiate-type press box and radio booth is a telephone system which enables the rival coaches to put spotters up here and from this height advantage to call down to the bench and tell the coaches where those holes are. And I noticed that Seabreeze has had a coach in the booth to our right throughout the entire first half, calling down to the Seabreeze bench across the way. However, he's not there here in the third quarter, and I'm just wondering if we're going to see him clattering up the stairs here in a minute if the Barracudas keep moving. Here's Johnston with the ball, handing off to Doyle Lowe, driving hard in for 3 or 4 yards into the left side. And Lowe just sticks his head down with beautiful, vicious blocking by Mario Fazio and Andy Crawford, and he follows them through for 3 and 4 yards at the clip. This time he moved the ball for almost the necessary 4 yards, very close to the first down, before Gordon Albright could drag him down.
That's what you like to see in the back, too, Bob, those legs pumping all the time, even when somebody gets a hand on you.
He's really putting his head down tonight. It's 3rd down and a foot at the Seabreeze 23. 3rd down and a foot. This could be a very important play. New Smyrna Beach leading 12-7 with 8 minutes and 30 seconds left in the third quarter, and with a 3rd and a and makes it, goes across the 20 down to the 18, made it a 17 before Reeves Smith, the guard that they've been pummeling in there, pulls him down. Reeves Smith is the Seabreeze right guard, and they've been running right over him. He's been getting the tackle, but they've been dragging him about 4 yards. And Ronnie Miller, the linebacker, and Gordon Albright also got a piece of Barrow that time as they stacked him up after he had rolled up the first down on the 17-yard line. So it is 1st and 10 for the Barracudas on the Seabreeze 17. Here's Lowe driving in that same spot across the 15 down to the 14. And there's a big pile up as the Seabreeze defense begins to stiffen now, the line tightening up a little. Reeves Smith, again under the play. Flavor Miller came up fast from the secondary to stop him, and they moved the ball back to the 15, say his knee hit there. It's a gain of 3. It's 2nd and 7 for the Barracudas from the Seabreeze 15-yard line. Action toward the south end of the field, southern sector of the gridiron, as the Barracudas drive toward those south goal posts. Ronnie Johnston, the quarterback, up under center, fakes the handoff to Barrow, then gives to Lowe, who slants off right tackle on a slant play and goes for about 3 yards down to about the 12. Doyle Lowe is bumped down hard at the 12 by Elwood Hyatt and Martin Nass from the Seabreeze secondary. Johnston faked beautifully then as Barrow went up the middle without the ball, and then the left halfback, Doyle Lowe, slanted across and kept running on a straight line on a slant off his own right tackle. So it is 3rd and 5 from the Seabreeze 12-yard line for the Barracudas. Ronnie Johnston, the quarterback, gives in to Lowe, who smashes down across the 10, down to the 9. Let's see who gets up off the bottom of the pile after making the tackle on Lowe. It is Ronnie Miller and Walt Feller. Ronnie Miller, the right end on offense, who is the linebacker on the left side defensively. Now with Norton Montague, the linebacker on the right side, right here at this moment in the 3rd quarter. We've also had Madden and Teller as linebackers on occasion. Now Johnston gives to Barrow, who drives in, going hard across the 5, down into the end zone for a touchdown. Mike Barrow on a quick opener, got good blocking, burst out in the open for a minute, hit somebody on the 5-yard line. White jersey Sandcrabs grabbed him around the neck. That slowed him up, but Barrow kept digging and twisting and spinning, and finally dragged the Sandcrab defender the last 5 yards into the end zone. He pulled him down just as he fell into the end zone, and so the Barracudas lead 18-7 with the try for extra point yet to come. Let's check that clock. 4 minutes and 50 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. The Barracudas are going to run the ball. It is Ronnie Johnston on the keeper, and he's stacked up at the line of scrimmage. The extra point fails, and so the score remains New Smyrna Beach 18, Seabreeze 7. And those extra points could be important yet in this ball game, because the Sandcrabs have kicked 1 extra point after their lone touchdown. The Barracudas have scored 3 times, and they get a well-deserved ovation from the New Smyrna Beach fans as they come back up the field. But the Cudas have failed to convert on all 3 touchdowns, and let's see what will happen as Mike Barrow now prepares to kick off. The score 18-7. Barrow will kick from north to south. Bill, you got a quick comment?
No, Bob. Just waiting for the kickoff. Waiting for the next touchdown, too, as a matter of fact.
Right. Barrow has scored all 3 Barracuda touchdowns, and now he moves forward. Elwood Hyatt is deep for Seabreeze. It's an end-over-end kick, not too deep, bouncing on the 20. Hyatt grabs it on the 15, comes back up the middle, gets a block to the 20, the 25, the 30, and he's hammered down by a host of red jerseys at the 32 or 33-yard line. 1st and 10 for Seabreeze. It's on the 32-yard line, and the Barracudas have come back strong here in the second half to tack on that 3rd TD. And this time they did it the hard way, a long, sustained drive. Now the Sandcrabs pop out of the huddle, 1st and 10 from their own 32. They're trailing 18-7 with 4 minutes and 5 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Jack Weller, the quarterback, pitches back to Martin Nass, who's tripped for a loss. He's tripped up for a loss. Harmon broke through and got him around the ankles and spilled him. And then as he fell forward, Andy Crawford, who was in fast, jumped on top of him to make sure that he kept going down. Harmon, a beautiful shoestring tackle, tripped him up, and before Nass could regain his balance, Andy Crawford burst through and put the clamps on him for a loss of 4 yards at the Seabreeze 28-yard line. The Barracudas are really fighting tonight. Second down and 14 for Seabreeze from its own 28. And here's the ball carrier taking a handoff and immediately being smashed for a loss in the Seabreeze backfield as big Mario Fazio charges in there like a bull with help from Carroll Williams, the right tackle. Both New Smyrna Beach tackles in fast. And the ball carrier, Nass, as he took the handoff from Weller, was smashed for a loss of a yard. It's 3rd and 15 from the Seabreeze 27. 3rd down and 15. The Sandcrabs trying to go north with that ball. Weller, the quarterback. Up under the center, Tim Madden. Here's a pitch back to Elwood High, twisting his own right end, has good blocking in front of him to the 30, the 35, the 38, and he's finally dragged down at the 38-yard line after a gain of over 10 yards, about 11 yards, an 11-yard gain around his own right end. Lindsey Carr knocked him off his feet at the Seabreeze 38. That brings up 4th down and 4 for the Sandcrabs from their own 38-yard line. Because of the losses on the 2 previous plays, that 11-yard run was not enough for the first down. Johnston goes back in single safety, standing on his own 28. Martin Nass, standing on his own 26, gets off his kick. It's almost blocked. A high kick. Johnston waiting is hit as he waits for the ball and then picks it up on the bounce, runs back to the 40, gets the block, the 45, the 50, and to the Seabreeze side of the field. And there was an odd play, which we'll recap for you. Nass was rushed, got off a high kick. The Seabreeze ends were down fast under it. And as Johnston waited, he was bumped by one of the Seabreeze ends who was down fast. At least 3 white jerseys were there. And yet, as the ball bounced up in the air, Johnston ran around behind them, running forward toward the Seabreeze goal line, grabbed the ball as it came down on the bounce, and almost got loose, leaving the 3 Sandcrabs behind him as he crossed the 45, the 50, and down to the Seabreeze 46. Very nice, alert play by Ronnie Johnston. He's the quarterback now as he hands off to Mike Barrow, the right halfback, bowls forward, straight up the middle, across the 45 to the Seabreeze 43. Lee Smith makes the stop. And the Barracudas are looking here in the early moments of the third quarter just as good as they looked in the early moments of the first quarter. That is, that line is charging hard. Those helmets are down low and they're surging forward. And those backs are starting just like an arrow off a bow. That low goes into the middle. And they're content to drive for those 4 and 5 yards at the crack and to keep that ball moving, playing controlled football here in the third quarter. Only 30 seconds left in the third quarter, which has been a very fast period, contrast to the first half. And I hear a play goes awry in the Barracuda backfield. Seabreeze pours in and throws the ball carrier for a loss. Flags go down, and let's see what will happen. Let's see what will happen. Doyle Lowe and Ronnie Johnston get up slowly from the 45. The ball is on the Seabreeze 44. The penalty apparently will be against the Barracudas. Try not to jump the gun, but we see the Barracudas all moving back to their own 40 in anticipation of a 15-yard penalty. And that's what it will be. A 15-yard personal foul penalty. That's the 3rd personal foul charged against the Barracudas tonight, which, while it's not to be admired, will give you an indication of how these Barracudas are up. They forget themselves in the heat of battle sometime, and they're really out there swinging those elbows tonight. The ball is on the 40. It's second down and 25 yards to go for the Barracudas from their own 40. Here is Johnston giving off to Lowe, who breaks out in the clear for a moment, the 40, 45, up to the 48, before they can drag him down. Doyle Lowe running from the left halfback slot, peels off 8 yards up to the 48. but the Barracudas had 25 to go, and so that means there's still 17 to go. The clock is running 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, and according to the clock at the north end of the field, that's the end of the third quarter. The end of the third quarter with the score, New Smyrna Beach 18, Seabreeze 7.
Friends, want to bring you that reminder again that we gave you before about the big special at Thomas Pharmacy. It's that special on Tussie's Wind and Weather Skin Lotion, the soft beauty treatment your hands and skin deserve. The regular $2 size, now only $1. The $1 size, just 50 cents. Call it half price if you wish, but it's still the wonderful Tussie Wind and Weather Lotion that thousands of women prefer. Get it at savings tomorrow at Thomas Pharmacy on Canal Street.
Thanks very much, Bill, and we'd like to turn the mic back to you a minute for just personal comments. You haven't had a chance to voice your opinion too much so far. What do you think of this third quarter?
Well, I'll tell you, Bob, the third quarter is looking very much like the first quarter, with the exception that Seabreeze is a little peppier than they were in that first quarter. Well, I'll tell you more about it later. You tell them about the game.
Well, we might make the obvious comment that they're hurting without Scotty Dunlop, who's on the bench. Here's Ronnie Johnston giving off to Doyle Lowe, who gets a good block across the 50 to the 45 as the teams exchange goals and start the fourth and final quarter. Martin Nass made the tackle on Lowe, who spurted to the Seabreeze 44-yard line. It's fourth down and still 10 to go because of the 15-yard penalty a moment ago against the Cougars. They made 15 yards on the last two running plays. But Scotty Dunlop did not play in the third quarter. At least we didn't see him in there, did you, Porter? And certainly the Seabreeze offense is crippled when Dunlop is on the bench. However, this ball game is not over yet. Barrow standing on his own 44, fourth down, waits for the snap from center, gets it, gets off his kick. It's a high kick going down around the Seabreeze 20, hits on the 20. Hyatt, the safety man, lets it bounce. And there's a flag on the play. Lowe gets up limping. Lowe is getting up limping. Of course, that doesn't mean a thing. We'll wait and see what the penalty is for. Ronnie Johnston's being consulted. Of course, you might think, at first glance, that Lowe was clipped. But we'll have to wait and see. The flag is down on the Seabreeze 22 or 23-yard line. And let's see what will happen. The ball is being brought back upfield, and it's being spotted on the 30. It's being spotted on the Seabreeze 30-yard line. It is first down and 10 to go for New Smyrna Beach. The 15-yard penalty against the Seabreeze Sandcrabs gives New Smyrna Beach the ball, first and 10 on the Seabreeze 30. So there's a break for the Cougars, who had kicked on fourth down. Now have a first down. Here, 1 minute deep into the fourth quarter. They're leading 18-7 over the Seabreeze Sandcrabs, who were slightly favored in the ball game. And Coach Fred Hogan of Seabreeze, who's apparently unhappy about that last call, comes to the sidelines and starts talking to the officials, who signify first and 10, New Smyrna Beach on the Seabreeze 30. Barracudas now in the fourth quarter are driving toward the north goal, which Seabreeze is defending here in the final period. Johnson with the ball gives off to Barrow, running hard. Barrow across the 30, down to the 25, down to the 23 before they can stop him. Big Mike Barrow, the right halfback, goes for 7 yards before Gordon Albright can drag him down. And the Barracudas are playing the game of the year for them as they hammer to the Seabreeze 23. The Seabreeze Sandcrabs backing up now towards the north goal post. The Barracudas, trying to keep this drive moving, have a second down and 3 yards to go on the Seabreeze 23. Johnson on the keeper, swings out to scoop his own left end, has Neely and Lowe in front of him, then is caught from behind. A nice tackle by Norton Montague, who trailed the play. And although Lowe and Neely were out in front of Johnson, blocking for him, Johnson was caught from behind by Montague. No gain on the play. So it's 3rd and 3 from the 23 still, with 10 minutes left in the ball game. This second half is being run off much more quickly than was the first half, which was dotted with timeouts. and with numerous penalties. Johnston, the quarterback, gives off to Barrow, driving in, goes across the 20, and he's racked up by the middle of the Seabreeze line, which is bending now before the pressure of this hard-charging Barracuda forward wall. It's the first down on the Seabreeze 20. First and 10 for the Barracudas. Reeves Smith made the tackle. The Barracudas, much the more aggressive team here in the second half, have driven to the Seabreeze 20. They have a first and 10 with 9.5 minutes left in the fourth and final period. The score is New Smyrna Beach 18, Seabreeze 7. And here's Bill Armstrong.
Thank you, Bob. Bob, I was just thinking, I don't know what Coach Pete Mammon's been feeding the backfield here, but they've certainly spruced up this CUDA backfield in these last two periods.
They're driving hard. Of course, that line is opening those holes, too, boys.
Well, they are, led by big Mario Fazio, I believe. Hey, friends, just a word while the timeout's still in effect. You know, test after test has proven that Cosmos Spar Varnish for furniture or floors can really take it. Mitchell and Alexander Majory headquarters on Orange Street can demonstrate Cosmos Spar Varnish. Scalding water, perfumes, alcoholic drinks, even the hammering of horses' hooves won't harm Cosmos Spar Varnish. For real protection via floors of furniture, get Cosmos Spar Varnish at Mitchell Alexander. When you go by there, tell them where you heard about it, won't you?
Thanks, Bill. And now, while time is still out on the field, once again, we want to give our very excellent spotter a chance to identify himself. Porter Baxter, come in and say something, boy.
Bob, I've been watching particularly the backs in this half. They seem to be getting a complete jump. The line seems to be getting a jump on the Seabreeze line, and those holes are very fast opening holes. Those backs, they're all on quick handoff plays, and they seem to be squirting through that line before they can close the gap. It's all very, very fast line play. And the same series of plays have been run time and time again. They're using Barrow straight over right tackle, and they've been using Doyle low on these slant plays, and they've been working very effectively on the quick opener, don't you think?
I think you're very right, and I'm glad you pointed that out. Dr. Wes Rowland just stuck his head in the door and said, how have the Barracudas been losing any ball games at all the way they're playing out there tonight? Of course, we want to point out once again, in fairness to Seabreeze, that Scotty Dunlap hasn't seen action this entire half. Now, Doyle Lowe takes the handoff from Ronnie Johnston as action is resumed and goes in for about 5 yards. Gordon Albright pulls him down at the 15-yard line. It's a 5-yard gain for Doyle Lowe. Actually, just short of a 5-yard gain. It's better than 4. So let's call it second and a little better than 5 to go at the Seabreeze 15. Johnston with the ball. The quarterback hands off to Barrow, smashing between his own right guard and tackle, and he goes in for about 3 more as these quick openers continue to force back that Seabreeze line, which is bending, as the Barracudas drive through it for those short gains. Elwood Hyatt came up from the secondary that time, and now the Cudas have a 3rd and 2 on the Seabreeze 12. Driving toward that north goal, New Smyrna Beach leading 18-7 with 8.5 minutes left in the fourth and final period, trying just as hard as they can to spoil the Seabreeze homecoming. And Johnston now, with the 3rd down, gives off the low, sticks his head down, goes in, and it's thrown back, but his momentum may have carried to the 10, and it may not. Let's see, this will be close. Low, the left halfback, drove in. This time Seabreeze was waiting for him. They threw him back, but his momentum did carry to the 10, and the officials will measure to see whether or not it's a first down. The ball is spotted on the 10. The chain is stretched. The officials are looking at it. It's short by about 6 inches. It's short by inches, and actually that could be bad news for Seabreeze. When you're that close, it really doesn't make much difference whether you make that first down or not, because if the Barracudas successfully make the 6 inches, which of course is likely, that is, they have the odds in their favor if they're able to hang on to the ball, that will give them a first and goal a little bit closer to that double stripe than they would have if this first down was achieved on this play. Of course, if they don't make it, that's the way the ball bounces. Ronnie Johnston, the quarterback, up under center, 4th and inches on the 10, gives off to Barrow, who goes in for the first down. Barrow goes into about the 8, and so that will set up a first and goal from the 8 which is what we were trying to explain a moment ago. Instead of being first and goal from the 10, now the Barracudas will have 4 cracks from the 8. It's actually about the 7.5. So the clock continues to run with 7 minutes and 30 seconds left in the football game. 7 minutes and 30 seconds, and Johnston now turns and looks at the clock. The Cudas playing control football, trying to hang on to that ball, taking plenty of time, taking the full 25 seconds on every play, slowly come out of the huddle. Johnston drives forward on the quarterback sneak, down to the 5, and he's still driving. The 142-pound senior signal caller of the Barracudas moves down to the 5 before Ronnie Miller can stop him. And now Joe Benedict goes in. Coach Pete Mammon, Natalie attired in the light brown suit on the sideline, sends in Benedict, and out comes Carr. And you can bet that Coach Mammon is a little happier right now than his counterpart across the way, Coach Fred Hogan, although certainly victory is not within the Barracudas' grasp as yet, with over 7 minutes, or with almost 7 minutes left on the clock. They lead 18-7, and they're trying to add that 4th touchdown. Johnston hands off to Lowe, who drives in, and they stack him up right on the line of scrimmage. The ball was spotted on the 6 after Johnston's quarterback sneak, and Lowe failed the gain on that play. So the Seabreeze line is tightening, and now a flag is down, and we may have a penalty. With the ball on the Seabreeze 6-yard line, if the play is allowed to stand, it'll be 3rd down and goal to go for the Barracudas. The penalty, which would have been against the Barracudas, has declined. And so we have 3rd down and goal to go for the Barracudas from the Seabreeze 6-yard line, although the sideline marker still has a 2nd down indicated. Isn't that right, Porter, or have I miscounted?
No, it's
There's also a 2nd down on the scoreboard, but it should be 3rd down. Here's Johnston giving to Lowe. Lowe goes to the 4-yard line, hammering off his own left guard. And the hole closes quickly as Seabreeze stiffens in the shadow of its own goal line. Ronald Van Lennep, V-A-N, capital L-E-N-N-E-P. Now that's Reynold, R-E-Y-N-O-L-D, Reynolds Van Lennep, 175-pound junior guard, made the tackle. And now the clock runs, 6 minutes and 5 seconds left in the football game. The sideline marker and the scoreboard both continue to have 3rd down posted. And now Coach Fred Hogan and assistant coach Bubba Ware call the officials' attention from the sidelines, and it could be that they're discussing that very thing we've been talking about. It could be that they're claiming the scoreboard is wrong and that the sideline indicator is wrong. Of course, we definitely could be wrong.
Could it possibly have been both teams were offsides, which nullified that play? You know, it didn't move.
That could have been. That could have been. In other words, when he gave the signal that the penalty was declined, apparently what happened, and as we said, we definitely could be wrong, and we were, along with the Seabreeze coaches. The officials went over and patiently explained the same thing to them that the Porter Baxter just decided, and that's the solution. They gave the penalty decline signal. Actually, both teams were offside. Here's a pitch back to Lowe, trying to creep his own right in. He's got Johnston blocking for him, and he goes into the end zone, standing up. It's a touchdown, and the Barracudas lead 24-7 with 6 minutes left in the ball game. Doyle Lowe, the left halfback, took a pitch out for Ronnie Johnston, juggled it as he ran to his right, aiming for that northeast corner. Barracudas are at the north end of the field now. And as Bill Armstrong points out, the Barracuda band is gleefully playing Ain't That a Shame. Doyle Lowe took the pitch out, sweeping to his right, and with Ronnie Johnston blocking in front of him, Johnston threw himself at 3 Sandcrabs. Lowe skirted his own right terminal and went into that northeast corner just inside the flag. Now here's Fazio attempting his place kick. It's good. And the score, believe it or not, with 5 minutes and 55 seconds left in the football game, is New Smyrna Beach 25, Seabreeze 7.
Bob, I don't know if I can talk over this crowd, but I want to ask everybody a question. Is there a little fellow in your family who wants a car of his own for Christmas? Well, then choose it now and lay it away for the big day at Western Auto. Western Auto not only has a terrific selection of cars, tractors, fire trucks to drive, but you'll pay less for them than elsewhere. In fact, Western Auto's prices on those cars are as much as $5 less than other stores. So lay away that little boy's car or fire truck now at Western Auto, 419 Canal Street. The biggest selection and the lowest prices anywhere around. Shall we kick, Bob?
I'd just like to point out that it's undoubtedly a very frustrating evening for Coach Fred Hogan, because for the last 3 years in a row, his teams have been favored to beat the Barracudas. That's as long as Fred has been the head mentor at Seabreeze. And every year since Fred became head coach, his rival from neighboring New Smyrna Beach, Coach Pete Mammon, has sprung the upset. You know, 2 years ago here, it was also Seabreeze homecoming. In '53, Seabreeze was favored. New Smyrna Beach won at 27-13. And then last year, down at New Smyrna Beach, it was the Barracudas homecoming game. Seabreeze again was favored. And once again, the Barracudas were up and toppled the Sandcrabs 9-7. And Ken Phillips, one of the stars of that ball game, incidentally, is in the crowd here tonight. And then this year, for the third straight year, the Barracudas have been underdogs. And although the ball game is not over, there's still plenty of time for the Sandcrabs to definitely get back into contention. There are less than 6 minutes on the clock, which means that the time is against the Sandcrabs, and the score, in case you just tuned in, is New Smyrna Beach 25, Seabreeze 7, with 5 minutes and 53 seconds left in the football game.
Bob, this has been a bad year for homecomings all around, hasn't it? College, high school, everywhere.
You might say so. We just want to remind you, this is the same Seabreeze club, except, of course, several key regulars have been out with injuries. You have to give them credit, but it is the same Seabreeze team that beat Bowles 38-0, P.K. Young 31-0, Cocoa 27-13, and Deland 20-14. Now here's the kickoff by Barrow, taken on the 25-yard line and returned to the 30, back to the 31, and that's all there is. As Phil Walser, one of the ends, drifted back, grabbed it on the 25, and brought it back to the 31. 5.5 minutes left in the football game. The Sandcrabs, sorely hampered by the absence in this second half of Scotty Dunlop, who's been a great ball player for the Sandcrabs all year, and Dunlop was a ball of fire in the first half, and he's just now coming into the ball game for the first time in the second half. Here's Jack Weller with the ball, giving off to Dunlop. Flags go down. Dunlop across the 30 up to the 33, and time is called. The clock stops.
Bob, I think this would be a good time to remind everybody that they are tuned to the 1230 spot on the radio dial. That's WSBB in New Smyrna Beach.
That's right. Let's give a station break.
Shall we do that?
For a change. We also want to remind the folks, while this penalty is being discussed, that next Wednesday night, just 5 nights from tonight, the Barracudas will close out their 1955 season against Lakeview High School of Winter Garden. That's the Winter Garden Red Devils, Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, and I certainly think that the Barracudas deserve a large crowd for that finale at the New Smyrna Beach High School athletic field. We hope to see an overflow crowd down there to show the Cudas that the fans are behind them 100% in their 1955 curtain ringer against Winter Garden. Seabreeze is penalized 15 yards for holding. Offensive holding. Back goes the ball to the 15-yard line. It will be first down, 25 to go for Seabreeze from its own 15. 5 minutes and 5 seconds left in the football game. Fading to pass is Weller, and he can't get his pass off. He's thrown at the 6-yard line. He's snowed under. Carol Williams and Mario Fazio, the two tackles, stopped him at the 7-yard line. So it's a big loss, an 8-yard loss on the play as Weller faded to pass. The clock is running, and 32 yards to go. Second down and 32 for Seabreeze from its own 7. Dunlop in the ball game for the first time in the second half. Now here's the pitch back to Hyatt, who starts around his own left end, cuts back at the 5, the 10, the 15, and he's suddenly upended around the 18-yard line. 25-7, the score in favor of New Smyrna Beach. Robert Harmon made the tackle, and the ball is spotted at the 18. They're understandably very, very happy, and the Seabreeze fans, just as understandably, are sitting in stunned silence across the way. Seabreeze definitely has been handicapped by injuries in the second half of the campaign after that bruising battle at Deland. The Sandcrabs won it 20-14, but they lost
several key men, including Sam Smith, Harvey Barnes, John Witt, and Dick Chapman, and Scotty Dunlop has been banged up, and to tell you the truth, they haven't been the same club since. After beating the Lions 20-14 for their fourth straight victory, they were upset by Winter Park 21-6, came back to Pace Winter Garden 32-7, and then lost the start 14-0 and Sanford 14-0. But they came back tonight in the second quarter, appeared to be a very fine football team, and you have to give credit to the Barracudas. They have struck their hearts out, and they lead 25-7 over Seabreeze with time running out in the fourth quarter. Now with the time out on the field, here's Simon and Bill Armstrong.
Thank you, Bob. You know, we've been talking about Thomas Pharmacy and everything they have there except prescription service. I don't think people associate prescriptions with pharmacies any longer. But when it does come to filling prescriptions, friends, you can really depend on Thomas Pharmacy for conscientious prompt service. Service that includes night as well as day. Service that includes free home delivery. That day and night service and home delivery is mighty important when illness strikes your home. Thomas Pharmacy is proud to keep in step with the times and all your health needs, whether it's the latest vitamins for children or special vitamin supplements for elderly diet. In addition, Thomas Pharmacy maintains a complete line of sick-room supplies and first-aid items. So rely on Thomas Pharmacy for all your health and medical needs. Thomas Pharmacy on Canal Street. Bob, I'd like to say those tackles for Symrna Beach. Williams and Frazier will play a heck of a ball game, too, aren't they?
You're right. You're very right, Bill. Now, there's 3 minutes and 53 seconds left in the football game. Seabreeze comes out. A third down, plenty of yardage to go. A flag goes down as Bella fakes the pass, throws it, and it's complete to the 25-yard line. The receiver is immediately thrown down by Joe Benedict and David Neely. Lindsey Carr comes up fast to get a piece of him. That's still well to the end, but the play may not stand. The clock stops with 3 minutes and 45 seconds left in the fourth and final period. The penalty is declined. It's refused. It would have been an illegal. Nope. We have that same situation we had a moment ago. We have both sides guilty of rules infractions. They first gave the penalty decline signal, and the public address system duly reported it, just as we did. But then the officials indicated that Seabreeze was guilty of illegal use of hands or forearms, and Symrna Beach was guilty, according to a signal, of illegal procedure. Could have been, if we misread, an offside penalty, a signal against the Barracudas. Anyway, the penalty is modified to play. Here is Hyatt, pushing his own left end, cuts back across the 20, and is thrown down at the 22-yard line. Over on that far sideline, Seabreeze trying to get out of the shadow of the North goalpost. Sarah Williams and Robert Harmon made the stop. They're trying to move the ball southward. The clock is running with 3 minutes, 25 seconds left. Symrna Beach leading Seabreeze 25-7, which is a distinct surprise. The Sandcrabs were only slight favorites, but even those who picked the Barracudas to upset the Crabs didn't figure that the Cudas would roll up a margin such as this. And now the Crabs call time to stop the clock, and we'll call in Bill Armstrong.
Well, thank you, Bob. Friends, like I said, no one's really trying to rush the season, but frankly, this is the right time to select and lay away toys for Christmas at Western Auto. Now's the time selection is best. Stocks are fresh, new, and complete to and complete. For instance, you'll find at Western Auto all the new TV games. What do I say? Games from another medium of entertainment. Disneyland, Beat the Clock, What's My Line, Winky Dink, and many more. Maybe you'll have to scramble to get such popular games. Besides games, Western Auto has all the wheel toys any child could want, and all the dolls and doll accessories, too. So come into Western Auto at 419 Canal Street tomorrow, where your Christmas toy selections, while the selecting's still good. Western Auto, 419 Canal Street, toy headquarters in Symrna Beach.
Thanks very much, Bill. The Seabreeze Sandcrabs are in a huddle now for trying to put the ball in play. They have a fourth down situation with 20 yards to go from their own 22-yard line. 4th and 20 for Seabreeze from its own 22 with 3 minutes, 20 seconds left in the football game. Seabreeze trailing Symrna Beach 25-7. Standing back on his own 8-yard line with Scotty Dunlop waiting for the pass in center. He gets it, gets off his kick. It's a high spiral bouncing on the Symrna Beach side of the 50. A very nice kick bouncing out of bounds on about the 48. And they're going to start it on the 49. And now Coach Pete Manning is sending in some fresh jerseys into the ball game. There's George Farmer, also Cecil Goodrich, And so the Barracuda regulars, most of whom have gone all the way, are earning a well-deserved rest. Here comes Carl Williams off the field. Here comes Al Tonneson, who's played a fine ball game in there, whether he's had occasion to mention his name or not. Tonneson's been up in the middle of that line, which has been opening those holes, been blocking very nicely. And here goes little Robert Crawford into the ball game, wearing number 54, which was worn all season by Fred Chandler until Chandler was hurt. And Robert Crawford, of course, is Andy Crawford's little brother, a pint-sized center. And Larry Marchington and Andy Crawford come out. And here goes Tonneson back into the ball game. Nice round of applause by the Barracuda fans and the band assembled right down in front of our booth here on the west sideline for the crews who come out. Williams, Crawford, Carr, and they're all pounding themselves in excitement. They're happy about the situation. Ben Meyer now is getting ready to go into the ball game. Standing on the sideline is Coach Pete Mannon. Time is out on the field, and Meyer is a 142-pound man. He's a friendly youngster, a junior, buckling on his helmet, and he's going to go in there. Mannon giving him some last-minute instructions as the friendly man, the Barracuda bench, is being sent into action now with only 3 minutes and 15 seconds left on the clock. This might be leading Seabreeze 25-7. The 6 men who started off the ball game on the bench, I believe, will all see action, with the possible exception of Dick Kersey and Lynn Wright, 2 youngsters who have not been in as yet. Now Johnson leads his team out. There's an obvious offside. Johnson drives in to kill the clock. Somebody in Symrna Beach was offside. Now Meyer, as time is called, runs into the ball game. Of course, under high school rules, free substitution allowed. And Robert Harmon comes out, and he's played a fine ball game. There's a boy that deserves a lot of mention. As do all the Barracudas. It's certainly been a team effort. And now 5 yards are being stepped off against the Cooters. The ball being pushed back to the 44. And we wouldn't be surprised if Symrna Beach doesn't get a pretty warm welcome back to town tonight. In fact, it may be quite noisy around the wee hours.
Well, I think it probably will, Bob.
Because they'd rather beat the Sandcrabs than anybody on their schedule. But don't forget, one more game remains against Winter Garden, a home game, next Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. You want to see a large crowd at the Symrna Beach High School athletic field. Johnson, once again flags go down as he hands off to Lowe, who bucks in and goes across the 45, but the play may not stand. A flag is down in the Barracuda backfield, which may have been in motion. And, of course, the clock is moving only in fits and starts here, with the plays consuming only 3 or 4 seconds before time is called. Ronnie Miller, a linebacker, made the stop on Lowe. And once again, the Cooters will draw a 5-yard penalty. Moving it back to the 39, almost to the 40. Noses the ball about a foot short of the 40. Backfield in motion. Actually, the signal given was illegal procedure or position. And now the clock shows 3 minutes and 6 seconds left in the final period. The score, Symrna Beach 25, Seabreeze 7. Symrna Beach has the ball. First down and 20 yards to go from its own 39-yard line, 39.5-yard line. Out of the huddle come the Cougars. Little Robert Crawford over the ball. He's about 5'4", wouldn't you say, Porter? Crawford is the center. Snaps the ball back to Johnson, who hands off to Barrow, who cracks the right side for about 4 yards, up to about the 44, maybe 5 yards on the pickup, before he's dragged down by the linebackers, Walt Keller and Tim Madden. And so it sets up a second down. They give him 5 yards on the play. That was Mike Barrow on the carry to the 44. So it brings up second down and 15 on their own 44 for the Barracudas, who take their time coming out of the huddle, beating up the clock. 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. They're out in front, 25-7. Nursing that 3-touchdown margin. Here's a handoff to the left halfback, Lowe, who sticks his head down, drives in, goes up for a yard or two across the 45, and then is heaved back. That was David Neely. That's one of the few times tonight that Neely has carried, and Neely moved from the left halfback position, which led us to believe it was Lowe. Bob Burnett made the tackle. Neely has been hampered by injured legs, just as has Scotty Dunlop for Seabreeze, and Neely's been used as a decoy most of the time in the Barracudas' last 3 ball games because of his bad leg. Johnson now sets up his team, 3rd down and 14 from the 145 for the Barracudas. Getting off the Neely running hard off his own left tackle across the 45 up to about the 46 or 7 for a gain of about 2 yards. Ends up 4th down, a minute and a half left in the ball game. Miller made the tackle. That's Slater Miller. And Bob Burnett. Ball spotted on the 47. So it is 4th down and 13 yards, 4th down and 13 yards to go from the 147 for the Barracudas. 4th and 13 from the 147. The end is put wide. Barrow goes back to kick, standing on his own 33. Back in single safety is Elwood Hyde, 155-pound junior for Seabreeze, standing on his own 25. And now the Barracudas take too much time. They take too much time in attempting to kill the clock. They didn't get the play off and required 25 seconds, and so they'll come around 5 yards to delay the game, move the ball back to their own 42. Barrow standing on his own 28 now, and Hyatt in safety moves up to the 27 of Seabreeze. A high pass in center, and Barrow's going to run with the ball. He's not going to kick. Slipping his own right into the 30. He's trapped and thrown after crossing the 35. He's thrown about the 37-yard line. And that was a smart move by the Barracudas to kill a little time because there are only 35 seconds left in the football game. The score is Symrna 25, Seabreeze 7. Here comes Mike Boggs running like a slice of watermelon as he comes off the field after playing a fine ball game. He got a big kick out of that last play. And now here's Andy Crawford going back in. Ben Meyer comes out. And that toss in front for the fake kick, of course, Ball was back in front formation. The toss in front of little Robert Crawford was sort of like a circus leader over here. It almost was a booger over his head. Almost fell in for a base hit. 25-7 the score in favor of Symrna. In case you just tuned in, the Seabreeze Sandcrabs have the ball. 1st down and 10 to go on the Symrna 38-yard line. The Barracudas playing inspired football, and certainly the most aggressive football that they played all year. And all you have to do is read the Christian start in the morning paper and look at the penalties rolled up against the Barracudas, and you'll see just how aggressive they've been. Although certainly nobody would condone a personal foul penalty. They've had numerous offside penalties which indicate just how eager they've been to get that play off. Now here's Weller fading the pass, fading to his own 37, throws it downfield. It's intercepted at the 5-yard line by Barrow, back to the 10, the 15, the 20. And now with the clock running, 25 seconds left, the interception by Lowe has just about wrapped it up. And here a host of red jerseys going to the ball game, including Vic Cosey and Lynn Wright for the first time this year. Vic Cosey and Lynn Wright going to the ball game for the Barracudas, and that means just about everybody's been in. Everybody's standing up. Seabreeze is call time, 15 seconds left on the clock. Vic Cosey and Lynn Wright, the last 2 crews to see service, are in there. Of course, all the other kiddies have been in already. Leonard Johnson, David Neely, Bill Lowe, they've all played a fine ball game. Mike Barrow. Robert Crawford has been in. Larry Martinson went all the way, practically at center. Andy Crawford, Clifford Goodrich has been in. Albert Thomason, John Farmer, Sarah Williams, George Farmer, Mario Fazio, who's been a foul strength in the line. Robert Harmon, Ben Myers been in. Gilbert Chisholm, Joe Benedict, and Lindsey Carr. They've all been in there. And now they prepare to run off the clock. Everybody plays on the sideline. 15 seconds left in the football game. Symrna holding a 25-7 lead. Leonard Johnson calling the signals and just takes the snap from center and falls forward into the line to eat up the clock, which is running 10 seconds. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the ball game is over. The Barracudas win it 25-7. In case you just tuned in, we'll run over the scoring place for you quickly and then turn it over to Bill Armstrong for the wrap-up. In the first quarter, the Barracudas seemed to put Seabreeze by surprise. The Cougars recovered a fumble and quickly capitalized. Mike Barrow ran 29 yards for a touchdown to put Symrna out in front 6-0. And then after Seabreeze received the kickoff and was unable to move, Scotty Dunlop got back in front formation on about his own 16-yard line. The punt was blocked by Gilbert Chisholm. Mario Fazio fell on the ball, and then Ronnie Johnston threw a pass to Lindsey Carr, which put the ball on the Seabreeze 4-yard line, a pass which gained 20 yards, and then Mike Barrow flashed the final 4 yards to make it 12-0. Seabreeze recovered an East Money Beach fumble deep in the Barracudas territory late in the first period and rolled right back into contention, led by the fine halfback and quarterback Scotty Dunlop. And Dunlop went 15 yards early in the second quarter to tack on the lone Seabreeze TD, which was followed by a successful replacement for the extra point by Martin Nass, which definitely put the Crabs back in the ball game. They trailed by only 12-7 at halftime, and they had a drive which appeared to be going very well. They were opening big holes in the Barracuda line in the second quarter, trailing by only 5 points. They appeared to be on their way to moving ahead in the ball game when a fumble stopped the drive, and the Barracudas hung on until halftime. And then, of course, as many of our halftime guests pointed out, Seabreeze looked very strong in that second quarter, and one of the unions that we had who were partial to Symrna Beach expressed their concern over what was to come in the second half, with Seabreeze showing such a strong comeback, and of course being a fine football team with a record of 5 victories, which the Crabs had already rolled up. It looked as if the Barracudas might be in for a rough second half, attempting to protect a 5-point lead, but they didn't go out in the third quarter to protect the 5-point lead. They went out to add to it, and they did. They peeled off 2 more touchdowns and won the ball game going away as Seabreeze was handicapped by injuries which kept Scotty Dunlop virtually inactive during the second half. The Cougars took the offensive. They hit harder than ever in the second half. They showed a tremendous fighting spirit. And Mike Barrow backed on the third touchdown, a 13-yard bull-like turn, very low, around 4 yards to cap another line sustained drive, and Mario Fazio on his fourth attempt post-kicked the extra point, which added that 24 points on the scoreboard. So the Cougars, with 2 touchdowns in the first half and 2 in the second, won it and an upset, and the major surprise was the size of the score. This one will be 20. Right alongside of it for one last road, and we'll give it the ball to put the lock on the door.
Bob, I think the boys surely showed their best spirit all year. They certainly played the best game all year. And we hope that all the folks down in Newfoundland will come out next week tonight to see the final game of the year. And I think the Newfoundland Barracudas will have a big crowd for the final game of the year.
I certainly think that they do, and I'm glad you pointed that out, Porter. Don't forget, next Wednesday night, 5 nights from tonight, that's Thanksgiving Eve, the Barracudas versus Winter Garden at East Money Beach. I see sports editor Bennett Kahn of the News Journal has been over to congratulate Pete Manning, the midfield talk between the coaches, Fred Hogan of the losing Sandcrabs and Coach Pete Manning of the victorious Barracudas is still underway with some of the members of the press listening in over near the east sideline. And of course it's undoubtedly a very bitter and frustrating defeat for Hogan, who has yet to emerge victorious over Manning since Hogan took over as the head coach of Seabreeze 3 years ago. Seabreeze has been favored every year, and every year the Barracudas have seemed to rise to the occasion, have put out their best efforts. They always want to win this one worse than any other on the schedule, and they have come out on top 25-7 in what is certainly a major surprise. So that pretty well covers it. Bill, I wish that as you wrap it up, for the late tuners in, just before you sign off, you would mention that final score once again. Seabreeze 7, East Money Beach 25, and now to sign off here, Bill Armstrong. You sure you want me to mention the score? How about Seabreeze 7, East Money 25? That's close enough. Everybody got in the game but us now, but this was. And Porter, I left out Porter. And Bob Snowden certainly got in the game. Did you hear the song you finished up with?
learning the blues, which probably rubbed a little more. Anyway, we hope to see more of these fans up there at the next school football game. Come on now, this is great sport, and it looks like a great team. Now, for those of you who can't possibly make the game, we'll be on hand to bring you the color and play-by-play. Both Bob Patillo and yours truly wish to express the thanks of WSBB to Mr. Shoebiger, Coach Mammon, the school authorities, for permitting this game to be broadcast, and our appreciation of the sponsors who made this broadcast possible.
I'd also like to put in a word. I see you just getting ready to do that.
Yeah, I was. I'd like to thank Mr. Samuel M. Miller, the principal of Seabreeze High School, for giving us permission to broadcast the game to you folks at home in New Smyrna Beach. And once again, I'd like to mention the wonderful treatment we've received here at Welch Stadium in Daytona Beach. And certainly, although the ball team didn't win, well, everyone else who participated in this great homecoming celebration here in Daytona certainly did participate and did win at least heartfelt gratitude by us and many other people in the stand. Don't forget our sponsors who made this broadcast possible: Thomas Pharmacy, Mitchell Alexander Lumber Company, Light and Ford Millworks, Western Auto, all civic-minded businesses in New Smyrna Beach. Sincerely hope you will thank these sponsors for bringing you the Cootie game tonight and throughout the season. And my good friend Robert Wolf up here to say a word, but he got a little bashful at the last minute, so we figured one hand was enough in the family. Wouldn't you say, Porty? Well, anyway, now speaking for those sponsors, this is Bill Armstrong saying so long from Welch Stadium in Daytona Beach, and returning you now to Bob White at WSBB Studios in the New Smyrna Beach Hotel. Take it away, Bob.
Following is the last quarter in the New Smyrna Beach Palatka game.
We saw the hole opening in front of him because the Palatka defenses were dropping back, and Austin Tilton finally ran him down on about the 19-yard line. 1st and 10 for New Smyrna Beach on the Palatka 19. Ronnie Johnston running hard for the first down. Johnston with the ball. Hands off to Barrow, who hits the right side and is stopped after a gain of a yard or two. That's all, as the hole closed up. And Sam James, the 214-pound left tackle, made the stop. 2 yards he picked up on the play. Let's call it 3. It's about 2.5. Call it 3 yards. 2nd down and 7 from the Palatka 16-yard line. 5 minutes and 15 seconds left in the football game. The Barracudas trailing 19-6, driving toward that west goal post, or that west end zone. Here is Doyle Lowe carrying into the left side, and Lowe moved it a yard or two. Lowe moved it to the 14, brings up 3rd and 5 from the Palatka 14. Here's Harmon in, Chisholm out, as Coach Pete Mammon sends in another play with 4 minutes 44 seconds left. The clock moving. Big red electric numerals showing 4 minutes 38, 37, 36, 35, 34 seconds, 33 seconds at the west end of the field. Doyle Lowe is a flanker to the left. It's 3rd down and about 3 to go. And here is running hard, big Mike Barrow. Gets out the open, gets the block, across the 10, across the 5, into the end zone for a touchdown. Mike Barrow scores from the Palatka 14-yard line on a determined burst. And the New Smyrna Beach Barracudas are back in the ball game. 19-12 is the score. 19-12 with a try for extra point yet to come. The Barracudas tried a place kick in the second quarter for the first time this year. They've been running the extra point. Mario Fazio was slightly wide with his place kick, and now he's going to try it again. Neely will hold. There's a snap in center. The ball is down. The kick is in the air. It's good. It's good. And it's 19-13. The Barracudas trail by just 6 points with 4 minutes 21 seconds left in the football game. The score is Palatka 19, New Smyrna Beach 13. New Smyrna Beach will kick off from east to west with the score 19-13 in favor of Palatka. Light and Ford Millworks, Thomas Pharmacy, Western Auto, Appliance Store, and Mitchell and Alexander Lumber Company. Those are the 4 firms that make these broadcasts possible. If you enjoy the broadcast on those occasions when you're unable to get out here in person, We sincerely hope that you'll drop in and tell them about it. 4 minutes, 21 seconds remain in the football game. Mike Barrow will kick off. Deep for Palatka, standing on his own 10-yard line, is Lamar Hudgens. Up on the 15 are Terry Cheshire and Kenny Morris. Here's the kick. It's an onside kick, a short kick. The Barracudas trying to gain possession, and they do. The Barracudas recover. An onside kick intended to confuse the front line of the Palatka defenses, and David Neely raced forward and fell on that ball. The ball was recovered by Neely on the Palatka 47-yard line. You know, Palatka has to pick up that pigskin. The team receiving the kickoff has to pick up that ball, or else the team kicking off can recover, and that's what happened as the ball slanted toward the north sideline and eluded the Palatka front line of defense, the 5 linemen up there on the front row, and David Neely racing forward hucked that ball on the 47. So now Palatka has called timeout. Symrna Beach has the ball on the Palatka 47 with 4 minutes and 14 seconds left in the football game, and Palatka leads 19-13. Palatka leading 19-13, but the underdog Barracudas, who were figured on the short end of this one by, well, by comparative scores, you could easily assume 4 touchdowns, are in the thick of it all the way. They trail by 6 points, and we have 4 minutes and 14 seconds left. 4 minutes and 14 seconds left. 19-13 the score. Ronnie Johnson talking to his team in the huddle. And out of it come the Barracudas. Larry Marchington up over the ball. A flanker out to the left is David Neely. Johnson with the ball. Hands off to Doyle Lowe, who drives up the middle and goes to the 45, and then it's thrown back. Doyle Lowe, the left halfback, 160-pound junior, is thrown back, but not before his forward motion had carried to the Palatka 44. So give him 4 yards on the play. Let's see. Put that ball on the Palatka 43. The play started from the 48, and it's closer to 5 yards actually than 4. Call it 2nd and 5 from the 43. Johnson on the keeper is trapped and dropped for a loss of about 2 yards as Johnson started to pull out and swoop his own left end. Wayne Barber broke in quickly with Robert Browning and dropped him on the 44. So it's a loss of a yard. 3rd and better than 6. 3 minutes, 15 seconds remaining. The Barracudas on the Palatka 44-yard line, trailing 19-13. Johnson calling signals. Palatka poised with a 6-man line. A flag goes down. Johnson hands off to Barrow, who fights into the middle and gets very little yardage. Flags all over the place. And this time we won't try to second guess. We won't try to jump the gun until we see what the officials decide. The ball is sitting on the 43, resting comfortably. Flags are now slowly being picked up all over the field by Ted Pollitt, Frank Zimmerman. The other 2 men in the striped shirts, Lanier Smith and Kay Hamilton, are discussing the play. Symrna Beach was guilty of illegal motion, backfield in motion. The penalty was declined. Palatka takes the play in order to bring up a 4th down. A smart move by the Palatka captain Jack Bush and his co-captain Robert Browning. So it's 4th down and 5. The ball is spotted on the 43. And back in single safety goes Lamar Hudgens standing near the goal line. Mike Barrow standing on his own 45. Gets the ball, gets off his kick. It's a high kick taken by Hudgens on the 10-yard line. He's dropped immediately. He's dropped down near the 10-yard line immediately by Andy Crawford, who was down fast and has played a whale of a ball game at guard for the Barracudas despite an injured leg and despite the fact that he weighs only 142 pounds. 2 minutes and 39 seconds left in the football game. Devon Owens goes in at fullback for Palatka with a play. Palatka with the ball now. 1st and 10. from its own, about its own 13-yard line. And now here comes Bush moving up the middle, the 168-pound junior halfback, for 3 yards. Brought it to about the, and they give him 4 yards on the play, brought it to about the 17. 2nd and 6 from their own 17 for Palatka, trying to run out the clock. 2 minutes and 3 seconds left. Palatka leading 19-13. Fazio made the tackle on that play. Now here is Kenny Morris as the flag goes down, breaking clear off the left side, going across the 20 and up to about the 23 or 4-yard line. But there's a flag down, and let's see what will happen. The clock is stopped. 1 minute 53 seconds left. The penalty will be against Palatka. The Maroons are leading 19-13. Illegal procedure or position. A 5-yard penalty. Moves the ball back to about the 12-yard line. It's 2nd and 11 from about their own 12 for the Palatka Maroons. And now here is Owens, a stocky fullback, starting on the left side, cuts back to tackle, and comes up to about the 17 or 18-yard line before the Barracudas can close in on him. And the clock stops. The officials stop it with 1 minute 42 seconds left. David Neely, Carol Williams, and Lindsey Carr on the tackle. The clock is stopped, and Palatka being penalized once again. Or is it New Smyrna Beach? Smith started walking toward the Palatka goal line, but he was only doing that to get a fresh start. And then he turned around and stepped off 5 yards against the Barracudas, who were offside on the play. That brings up about a 2nd and 5 from the Palatka 19, roughly. 1 minute and 42 seconds left. Palatka trying to run out the clock. The Maroons hold a 19-13 lead here in the fading heartbeats of this football game. And now here is Cheshire, who's in now at quarterback, on the keeper, going for 3 or 4 yards. 147-pound junior. And once again, the clock is stopped. Once again, the co-captains for Palatka, Robert Browning and Jack Bush, are being consulted. And let's see if the Barracudas will draw another penalty. They will. Mario Fazio, in his eagerness to stop the play, apparently jumped the gun a moment ahead of the snap. And so the 5-yard penalty does not give him a first down, but it gives him only a yard to go. 2nd and 1. Moves the ball up to about the 23 or 24-yard line. 1 minute 38 seconds. Here's Cheshire on the keeper, moving in, trying for that yard, and being thrown back in a furious scramble, and it's impossible to tell whether or not he made it. Time is called. The officials will measure. Pollock is holding his foot, showing Hamilton where to place the ball. Fazio made the tackle as he was backed up solidly by a wall of red jerseys. He rose up to try to stop that attempted first down. 1 minute 27 seconds left on the clock. Chain is being stretched. It's the first down for Palatka. The Maroons have gained that important first down, which may enable them to run out the clock. With 1 minute 27 seconds left, they have a first down. And, of course, they have 25 seconds to run off each play, which would give them time, barring fumble or losing the ball by some other means, would give them time to run out the clock. Now, Bush drives in. He's hit hard by Carol Williams and Mario Fazio. Williams was the man who hit him first, 172-pound senior right tackle of the Barracudas. Stopped him for no gain. And once again, the officials signify to stop that clock. So, Reese McRae pushes the button, and 1 minute 24 seconds is left as the 5 yards is being stepped off against Palatka for illegal procedure or position. It could be that one of the backs is too close to the line of scrimmage. And so Palatka now comes out of it with a 1st and 15. 1st and 15 from around its own 20-yard line. The ball goes to Kenny Morris, who drives off the left side, goes for 5 or 6 yards. He picks up about 6 to about the 26 before Andy Crawford stops him. And now Coach Rabbit Smith, Palatka changes quarterback, sends in Lamar Hudgens, takes out Cherry Cheshire. As the clock runs, 1 minute left, 59 seconds, 58. Palatka with a 2nd and 9 from its own 26, leading 19-13 here in the 4th and final quarter. Jack Bush running across right tackle is dragging 2 Barracudas with him, and he goes up to the 30-yard line before they can finally drag him down. A gain of about 5 or 6 yards. Lindsey Carr finally tugged him down at the 31-yard line. So it brings up a 3rd and 5, and the Barracudas call timeout to stop the clock. And, of course, that's their only chance to keep that clock from running with 33 seconds left. The Barracudas trail 19-13 to heavily favored Palatka, and this is reminiscent of last year's game up at Palatka when the Maroons also were favored by from 3 to 5 touchdowns and were hard-pressed to pull out a 25-19 decision. So the Kudos have been fired up by the homecoming spirit here, but the Palatka Maroons have been one whale of a football team, and they've come back to lead 19-13. An uneasy lead to be sure, even now, with 33 seconds left on that scoreboard clock at the west end of the field. We don't want to take time out for any commercials, but we do want to remind you that Chet Curnane at Western Auto, Rufus Thomas at Thomas Pharmacy, Fred Lynch and his cohorts, such as Tommy Flowers and his buddies up at Mitchell and Alexander Lumber Company, and George Ford and Clyde Wright at Wright and Ford Millworks are the folks who make these broadcasts possible. Now here's the drive into the right side. It goes for just about enough for the first down. They may have to measure. Devon Owens, the fullback, carrying, 21 seconds left. And the clock, it is a first down. The clock keeps running. 13 seconds, and of course you'll hear that horn. It'll go off automatically, only about 6 feet from my microphone, and you'll know this ball game is over. Palatka comes up with the ball. 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds. The play is run off. And the game ends with the Palatka Maroons pulling out a hard-earned victory, 19-13, and they're out there now congratulating the Barracudas on a fine ball game, and you have to hand it to them because the Kudos led 6-0 at halftime, and it came back strong here in the second half after trailing 19-6 to get that second touchdown and pull within 6 points of tying the score. Then again, on the second-guessing side, you might say, the Maroons took advantage of a couple of breaks, actually, to win this ball game. They had the power when they needed it, but on the other hand, had it not been for an intercepted pass on the Barracudas' 29-yard line, and a freakish one at that, this ball game could have ended on a different note entirely. These ball clubs fought on almost even terms, and we'd like to ask Fred Green of the Palatka Daily News to come in for one last word. Well, the boys pulled it out for you, Fred. What do you think about it?
Yeah, it was a fine recovery for Palatka, but Bob, I do want to say that 13 points represents as much as all the other teams that scored against Palatka this year. In other words, now we've only had 26 points scored against us, and you all got 13 of them.
Well, I'm glad you pointed that out, Fred, and I can see that Green Cove Springs was shut out by your club. So was Gainesville, 0-0 tie. You beat Sanford 19-0. P.K. Young 26-0, and Fletcher 14-0. And I see what you mean. Only Stark scored in a 13-6 Palatka victory, and DeLand beat the 7-0. And in that game, didn't Palatka have just about twice the yardage and first downs that DeLand did?
Oh yes, we completely outplayed them except for that one long run.
An 80-yard run by Donnie Hill, who scored 4 touchdowns here. Incidentally, the local fans are very familiar with him because he scored 4 times standing up here in a 31-0 DeLand victory.
He's a good boy.
So thanks very much to Fred Green and also to everybody, to Harold Hicks, Porter Baxter, Reese McCrae, everybody up here in the booth with us, and to W.R. Snowden for his description of the halftime show. It was a great homecoming for the Barracudas. They lost it 19-13, but they were in there all the way. They scored just before the half ended, 35 seconds left in the second quarter, to take a surprising 6-0 lead. And then Palatka came back strong with less than 2 minutes elapsed in the third quarter, went ahead 7-6, driving hard after receiving the kickoff with a couple of long, sparkling runs featuring the drive, immediately rammed over the touchdown to go ahead 7-6, and then added 2 more after recovering a fumble and intercepting a pass. The pass being intercepted on the 29 and run over. Actually, it wasn't even a forward pass, a pitch out.
being run over by the end, Ronnie Clark, for the touchdown that actually won the ball game. New Smyrna Beach came back in the fourth quarter on a determined drive to pick up the second TD for the home forces, and they added the extra point on the placement by Mario Fazio, and with the 4 or 5 minutes left in the ball game, it looked as if the Barracudas had a real chance to come out with at least a tie, and it looked even more so when David Neely recovered an onside kickoff, and the Cougars launched a desperate drive with the clock running out, which was stopped by the strong Palatka Maroons. They rose up and had it when they needed it, and you have to give credit to Coach Rabbit Smith and his well-balanced crew, and also to Coach Pete Mammon and his underdogs who fought Palatka on even terms throughout this ball game. So that's the way it went. New Smyrna Beach scoring in the second quarter, lead 6-0 at halftime. Palatka crowding 19 points on the scoreboard in the third quarter. Didn't they, Porter, or was that third Palatka touchdown in the fourth period? It's hard to remember. If it was, it came early in the fourth period, and then New Smyrna Beach came back to score the final touchdown of the ball game. So it wound up Palatka 19, New Smyrna Beach 13. Don't forget, next Friday night at Daytona Beach, we certainly hope to see you up there. If you're unable to be there, we'll bring you the play-by-play. And once again, Bill Armstrong will be back with us to handle the color assignment. Bill was forsaking the microphone for the stage tonight, taking part in the Theater and the Round production, My Three Angels, tomorrow night at the Yacht Club. And once again, we have interesting guests for you on the broadcast from Memorial Stadium in Daytona, and that'll be Seabreeze's homecoming. Seabreeze versus Smyrna Beach at annual George Baptist. Then again, don't forget, November 23rd, 12 days from today, 12 nights from tonight, the Winter Garden Devils will be here at New Smyrna Beach High School Athletic Field to close out the Barracudas' 1955 season. For those of you who can't possibly make those ball games, we'll bring you over WSBB. We also want to thank Mr. Schubiger, Coach Mammon, Mr. Callan, and the other school officials for permitting the game cast. And once again, our appreciation to those sponsors this broadcast by Thomas Pharmacy, Mitchell Lumber Company, Wright and Ford Mill Works, and Auto Store, all civic-minded businesses in New Smyrna. We hope that you'll thank these sponsors for seeing these good ball games. And, of course, they've throughout the season. So now, speaking to the sponsors and WSBP, this is Bob Patillo speaking from the High School Athletic Field. And for those of you who have just tuned in, you will score once. It was Palatka 19, New Smyrna 13 on the floor, and we'll return you now right at our WSBB studios in the New Smyrna.
Direct,